Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to have you here. Welcome to our live stream. Just going to lift my desk up a little bit here. Good to see some familiar faces. I'm just looking at all the cool people here, just seeing if we're going live on all our streams. Jamil, Adam, good to see you here. Deo, Grant, Marsden, Joe, Jason Croft. Wow, Brandon Foster, Steve. We've got a whole bunch of people joining us today. Good to see all you hop on. Dawn Brenton, good to have you here. Brenton Foster, Steve A. Jones, Octavio, awesome to have you here. I don't know who NSI partners are here, but welcome to NSI partners. Daniel Gow, good to have you here. Claire, awesome to have you here. Hopefully we're streaming live on Facebook as we speak, or at least I'm hoping that happens. Here we are live on Facebook, which is good to see. Welcome to those. So right now we are streaming on 4 different channels. So we're streaming on Consulting Unleashed, the Facebook group. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on the John Logar page, and we are here live on Zoom with us for this training today. So for those of you who are familiar with, here's what's going to be happening today in what I'm going to be sharing with you. I have a presentation, a set of slides that I'm going to take you through. I want to talk about 3 kind of key topics. I'm going to mix the topics up a little bit. The first one I'm going to talk about, I guess, things like the 5 core functions of our business. The second area I want to talk about is offers. The third area I want to talk about is kind of taking action fast, like the fastest path to generating some results. Now, some of you here have worked with me. Some of you have been in our programs. Some of you might have seen some of the material that I'm about to share in this group. But for you, the question, I guess, that you want to have for yourself when you're thinking about this is, how do I apply, or how am I applying this to my business? So that's one of the things that I'd encourage you to have a take in consideration or think about. Second thing is that I want to kind of help you get really clear and focused. The whole purpose of me going live today and just sharing some of the stuff that I've been talking about over the last few months is to declutter or maybe recalibrate your focus to get very clear and to take action on what you're doing out in the marketplace. So that's a really big part of what I'm sharing. The other thing also is I'm just going to, I've got, okay, so just while we're doing this, because I'm just going to do that, see if that works. Okay, so one of the things that I want to share is that I want to get pragmatic about this, right? We're all at different phases of our business. There's a whole bunch of people. Some people know who I am. Some people are familiar with the material that I'm sharing. But I guess for ourselves, what phase in our business are we in? We need to take into consideration where we're at. And there's kind of 3 of us in here. Where people who are just starting out, where people who are kind of freelancing, a client, we've got people who are in agency. And at each different level, there are certain things you've got to take into consideration in being able to grow, scale, more importantly, maximize your opportunity to generate the outcomes and the results that you want to generate in the market. So I am going to talk about some sort of above the ground worldview type stuff from a business point of view. I'm going to sort of drill down into some key specifics that you need to take into consideration. And from there, I'm also going to answer your questions. Now, how this is going to go is it's kind of broken up into 3 parts. I'm going to, and I'm going to sort of ask for interaction and engagement as we go along. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to train first. I'm just going to go through very clearly, speak to the presentation that I've developed so that you get the most out of what I'm sharing. Right? So I'm going to speak to the training first. When I stop, I'm going to stop the training and say, right, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to come back to you live, as I am live already. I'm going to come back to you. And as I'm coming back to you, then I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to ask you to ask me questions, give you clarity, clarification, those sorts of things. So if you're listening along or you're watching this, it's going to feel a little bit you might feel a sense of disconnection, right, in this. And the reason why is because I'm actually recording this live. There are certain sections that I want to capture and place into programs. So you're joining me on this journey, learning some stuff that I'm teaching. But then from there, from the teaching, I want to do the doings, right? So what does the doing? The doing means is I get to refer back to you. I'm going to say, great, pause, stop. And I'm going to ask you some questions, right? What do you think? What are your takeaways? Do you have a direct question to ask me, whether you're on Facebook or you're on my Zoom here or you're in YouTube, wherever you are? I will monitor the questions and I'll be able to answer your questions directly as we go through this process. So first of all, I just want to say welcome to this. I'm going to go live for 3 days. We're doing this for 3 days in a row. Same time, same back channel every day. 7 topics. I'm going to be covering 7 topics. That means I'm crafting a training for 7 key topics that we will break up with the intermittent questions in between this process. So this is day 1. We're going to head into topic 1, which is our core functions of business. And before that, I kind of want to give an overview of, I guess, what's out there, because some of the conversations that I've been having with other agencies and other business owners and people in my masterminds and mentoring groups is that they have seen really big growth, really significant growth in the last 6 months in the middle of this pandemic. So early stages pandemic, things weren't so well. People pulled out, people shutting down ad accounts, all that sort of stuff. But from there, people have come back to the market and realize that online is where they need to be. They need to be more communicative, more open to engagement online. And so we've seen a whole bunch of people jump into this space, right? So I'm just telling you from my experience and for some of the people that I'm working with, some people have doubled their business in the last, when I say doubled, $1 million plus. Some of the people I've been working with have built $1 million plus businesses in the middle of this pandemic, right? They're literally scaled, right? Some people have seen a 20 to 30% bump. Some people have opened up new product line, new offering, new service, even opened up into new niche markets and started to see demand for their products and services. So I just want to tell you what's coming in the near future, as in the now future, and then in the future, right? In the now future and the future. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you as we go through today. So I want to thank you all wherever you are, whether you're on my Facebook page or pages, whether you're on YouTube, and whether you're right here with me on Zoom. For those who know me, welcome. It's fantastic to see your faces. We've got lots of people who've worked with me and been in some of my programs, and we've got some new friends along the way. So I want to welcome you and thank you. So I'm going to get into this. So first section, I just want to talk about opportunity. I'm going to open up my slides. I'm going to go through that. Then I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause. And then I'm going to ask questions or answer questions. Then I'm going to start again, record, next section, then stop, pause, answer questions. So this will be me doing some live training here and developing some live training. You'll be going to be part of that. And then from there, you're going to be able to interact and engage. And I want to be able to coach you, answer your questions, get you moving. We've got a whole bunch of people on here. So one, I really appreciate, and I thank you for investing this time and at least helping me to get some structure and focus on maximizing your opportunity to scale and grow. So with that, let me share my screen. And I hope you should be able to, if you can just give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen, that would be really awesome. We're going to talk about tactical agency strategies. So if you can see my screen, just go thumbs up, screen's good. If I can see a thumbs up, we're good. All right, so I'm just making sure that the view that we have. All right, so tactical agency strategies is I guess the focus of the 7 core chapters I'm going to be sharing. So very quickly, opportunity. I just want to talk about this for a second because we're all in different spaces, right? Some of us are kind of just starting out, trying to figure this game out. Some of us have been in the game for a little while and trying to scale. So we're stuck in the fulfillment mode. And some of us actually have a team. We've built a business to a certain level and we want to scale and grow. And some people have built a significant business. In fact, I see a couple of our consulting champions who have larger businesses here who have joined us on this training. So, I just want to walk through what happened, or what's happened, right? So what's happened over the last, I guess, 7 months since back in February, early this year. We came into January 2020 with optimism. We looked at a new decade, we looked at new opportunities, we looked at a way that we thought we could expand and see a new world. And all of a sudden, that world was turned into a little bit of turmoil for us, right? That world turned into a little turmoil, and then it got worse. And then we obviously had this new era occur where it had a dramatic impact on health and a dramatic impact on our economies. And so what happens is we shut down. Right. And even today, we're going into second waves and we're experiencing some of these things. And some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you have occurred along the way to just give you perspective on what's been happening, right? To give you perspective on what's been happening. So here's the thing. We're in our timeline right now. We are sitting here in the middle of November. We're coming into the end of this year. And what a ride this year has been, right? Business has changed, behavior has changed. How we've done things is a little bit different in terms of what we're doing. And so we are seeing significant adjustments that we've made along the way. And you'll notice here that there are 3 lines, right? 6 to 10 months. There's another line that walks into that next 12-month period. Then we have the 18, 24 months, and we see a growth curve on the top top right-hand side with an opportunity curve, and we have a steady growth in the middle, and then we have the gap that's happening with people coming out of the market. So there are 3 levels to this, right? There are people that have left. They're gone. They're not coming back. They've tried to hang in there, but they just don't have the funds of capital. They have left the market. A lot of small businesses have left the market. A lot of business, even large businesses, have shed their workforce. We're seeing tens of millions of people unemployed, lots of things changing, right? But what's happening is there are businesses that have kind of realized the opportunity here and they've stuck it out. They've looked to pivot, they've looked to readjust, they've looked to get pragmatic in the way that they grow and scale their businesses. And so what's happened is they are determined to see this as an opportunity. And if you look at history of every major recessionary period or a period of imbalance that's occurring, there's always significant growth that comes out of that period, huge growth in the marketplace. So we're sitting here, November 2020, lockdowns occurring, social distancing, selective lockdown, hotspots, all that sort of stuff is going on. We're going to have to live with this for the next year, I believe. For the next year, maybe the next 2 years, we're going to have to live with the consequences of what a pandemic is causing to our societies and our economies, right? This is what's going to happen. So the key thing here is that there is businesses that are looking to stay and play in the market. And so what that means is there's still a lot of capital and cash out there. And there's a lot of people who are looking to pivot, change, readjust how they perform and how they are actually delivering to that market. And you'll notice that there's this thing that we call the mini boom, right? Now, it's really weird. In some parts of the world, they've seen this mini boom occur, and it was very short-lived because the second wave came along and they went back into lockdown. So another boom is going to occur. And the funny thing is, in looking at some of the markets and looking at our share market, the fact that we have vaccines and all those sorts of things coming into the fray in the not too distant future, we're seeing that consumer confidence is still there. There's still a level of consumer confidence. If there's a consumer confidence, there's a business confidence. And if there's a business confidence, that means the market is still open to buoyancy, open to growth, open to moving forward, right? So we are in new economy, new time. And one of the things that we've realized that as the businesses who aren't structured properly, who aren't ready, as they're falling out of the market, we're starting to see a gap open up, right? Where businesses that are staying and businesses that are thriving are going to pick up the slack. So this is where the opportunity for a lot of businesses is in the marketplace. And I just don't know why this is happening, but my screen is doing some really weird stuff. And I'm hoping that that's not going to interfere with what we're doing. So, so right now, I'm hoping that that has not affected the viewing. So right now in the market, what we're seeing, right, is, here we go, we've got the screen back. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing that there's a whole bunch of people kind of trying to hang in. A lot of these people are going to be out of business within the next 12 months. Anybody that's trying to survive is going to struggle to survive. If they're already struggling to stay in, they're going to be struggling to hang out. It's going to take roughly 3 years for the businesses that came into this pandemic at the beginning of this year to get back to where they were March 2020. So it's going to be 2024 before they kind of get back, 2023, 2024, before they get back to where they were pre-pandemic, right? Pre-pandemic. A lot of industries are disrupted. The big industries that have been disrupted are going to take 2 to 3 years to kind of get back into this market. So what we're going to see is there's going to be a group of people that are really actively trying to engage with customers online. That's what we're going to see in the marketplace. So this gap, this 18 to 24 month mark, is the critical number here. Those businesses that are focused on growth, focused on engaging, focused on building their opportunity, as they're gradually growing, you'll see that in 2 to 3 years' time, there'll be a hockey stick curve of growth. So this is really good for all of us here. If you really want to grow and build something sustainable, something that's going to fly, you've got plenty of time in this period to establish your brand, your service offering, your core competencies, your customer base, your audience, your tribe. You've got the perfect window to build something very significant if you choose to do so. If you're not interested in building something significant and you're just looking for cash flow, then there are going to be limitations on your capabilities in the marketplace. But I know that businesses that hang in there for those 3 years that are in a growth phase, they tend to hit a hockey curve stick, and they generally happens about 2 to 3 years out of a recessionary period or out of a business challenge period in the marketplace. So why is this kind of relevant to us, right? Every business right now is going through some form of transition. Every marketplace, everything, like the conversations that I'm having, people are thinking very differently. They're doing business very differently. They're trying to find pockets and places of where they can generate revenue opportunities for themselves in the marketplace. So right now, every business is going through some form of transition, and every business is looking at their options right now. That means that one of the areas they need to look at is how they acquire their customers, right? Businesses need to be operating right now as if they're in a startup mode. If I look at some of the most progressive companies right now, they're all operating as if they're building new businesses, building brand new customer bases, acquiring new products and processes out in the marketplace, acquiring the competition, buying customer bases, right? They're operating as if they're in startup mode. All of us here should be working up, not working down, right? We should be working up, right? So understand that our focus for the next year or two is that we're going to be working really hard, right? But in working really hard, we're about to hit in our world the boom time. There will be the biggest boom in over the next 2 years in digital marketing services like you've never seen before, because the demand and the push to be visible and engaged online is gradually increasing. And this 9 months, this last 7 to 8 months has exacerbated that opportunity, right? It's almost sped up. And by the way, from an e-commerce point of view, we're only about 18 to 20%. 18 to 20% is e-commerce revenue right now. That means 80% of the market is still operating face-to-face or engaging directly with their customers. So even with all the pandemic, even with all the growth and the trajectory, it's only 20%. E-commerce accounts for about 20% of GDP and transaction, right, in terms of purchase right now. 20%. That means 80% is we're still operating in a traditional mode. And that's not going to change anytime soon. That 20% will turn into 25% over the next year or two, right? 30% as it grows. But I think there's going to be some changes when there's a tipping point around that 35% mark. But it's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be 100%, right? If it's 100%, then we're no longer human, right? So understand that businesses are needing to operate in startup mode, right? All businesses discover their vulnerabilities in the current climate, right? Their vulnerabilities are they didn't look after their customers. They didn't collect databases. They didn't run multiple campaigns. They weren't able to communicate effectively as a group to their clients. They didn't spend enough time building relationships with their clients. They didn't have systems and processes to manage the clients themselves in terms of articulating, targeting, seeing how the client fits into their business model, right? They've all struggled with those things in the marketplace. They've discovered their vulnerabilities. So this is where we come in. This is where this is great for us, right? Because we fill the gap in those vulnerabilities. because the first place they look to is like, what are we doing online? If I look at some of my champions right now, Dash, one of the agencies we work with, they've grown by more than 60% in the website market, and their average sale on a website is $30,000. They don't build a website for less than 30 grand right now, right? They're selling strategy sessions to sell websites for $5,000 per strategy session. They start with every client charging $5 grand to do strategy, and that was their pivot. Their pivot was, we want to work with clients who want to invest properly in creating the foundation of their online platform, so that they can actually build something that's going to resonate and scale for the future. So right now, all businesses have discovered their vulnerabilities in their current climate, right? Number two, the big problem with business right now, they've got poor online strategies. They've got poor business strategies. The business model isn't quite right. It's had to change in some cases. Poor marketing, right? Terrible marketing, poor sales process, poor lead handling. They don't manage leads. They've been buying leads on Facebook and AdWords, but they haven't been managing them properly. So they've been wasting a lot of opportunities, right? They're reactive rather than proactive. So most businesses in the world, large and small, run or operate like they're a promotion. They run or they operate like they're a promotion. Right? If you're running your business like a promotion, you're just going to go from promotion to promotion to promotion. So you're always going to have stop, start, and you're also going to have fluctuations in revenue. So lots of businesses aren't really focused on building their customer base or building their assets and actually looking at their business from a strategic point of view. They're looking at their business from little tactical things that they can do. Right? So most businesses reactive rather than proactive sales focus. Lack of follow-up. A lot of businesses are terrible at following up because they get lots of leads. They manage the leads that they go for the low-hanging fruit. Anything that doesn't fit their criteria of their current attention is dropped by the wayside, and those opportunities are missed. By the way, as I'm talking here, you should be thinking about all the things, the gaps that you can fill to solve some of these problems, right? No customer relationship management system or CRM in place. So they don't have the ability to even look at their customer from a point of view of forecasting, planning for their growth, looking at where their customers at, segmenting their clients, looking at how they manage their client relationships. They don't have that automation in place. That's a huge, big gap in the market. Little to no customer experience, right? So they have no process. They haven't built an emotional connection with their customers. They've just been focusing on taking orders or pushing product or inventory out to the market or delivering service out to the market. But they've not built those emotional connections and bonds. And so a lot of businesses have suffered in this time because of that, right? The other thing is poor pre and post sales systems. So terrible in optimizing their incoming sales process, and they've got terrible post sales. So they're not really good at following up. They're not really good at upselling. They're not really good at reoffering. They're not really good at managing or scaling, right? They're not really thinking about that. So these are really big problems. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, how do I solve either one or many of these problems? Because any one of these problems, right, if the problem is, depending on the size of the business, if it isn't taken care of, the impact of the loss of not doing it right or not getting it done is extremely significant. And today, right, that impact puts you out of business. So if you're not doing these things, you're not fixing these things in your business, and you're not focusing on making sure you're optimizing for this, you're out in the marketplace, right? So next, what do businesses need to do right now to make it easy for their customers to buy, right? So first of all, if you're a local business, you need to be, this is all the SEO people. If you're a local business, you need to have your listing. You need to Google My Business. If you're a local business, you've got to have a registered Google My Business page. It's got to be optimized. It's got to be indexed for the mapping. It's got to tell people that you're open for business and when you're open for business so they can engage you. You've got to have your citations. You've got to have it optimized, right? If you haven't got that optimized in your brick and mortar business or your location-based business, then if your competition does, they're the ones that are being found. So businesses, our SEO experts, this is a service you can offer to the marketplace. Landing pages reflect the current situation and or offers, and even your websites as well. So websites need to change. Any person that hasn't changed their website in the last 3 years, you need to change your website. The other considerations are, what are the health considerations right now? And there are some industries that actually have to comply from a COVID-19 compliance, right? To let people know how they are operating safely in the current circumstances. They need to address those on their websites. They need to put all these things up on their websites right now. If they're not, then what they've done is they've created some challenges and problems for themselves. So websites have to change. There is demand. By the way, when you start asking, you'll be surprised how many people are out there in the market saying, hey, we need to change the website, right? Email marketing campaigns to improve customer communication, increase education and offers. Those people who've got a list need to start using the list. All our email marketers, funnel builders, all those sorts of things, businesses that have at least 1,000 or more names need to start engaging those names as quickly as possible, right? We need to start advertising. We've seen a 25% increase pretty much across the board from people opening up new ad accounts, new Facebook ad accounts, new Google ad accounts, new Instagram ad campaigns, new LinkedIn ad campaigns coming up, 25% increase. That's huge, right? And they're looking for people who know how to manage these accounts. So if you're a Facebook person or an AdWords person or LinkedIn or a YouTube advertising person, your market right now is huge. It's massive. Right? Massive, massive. So the other question that people have to ask is how can they serve their customers remotely? We have one of our consulting champions who built a package for their clients in the market to say, hey, you're not used to dealing with your customers remotely. Here's our systems on how we built a process to manage all our customers remotely, because all our clients are remote. Here's a communication strategy we use. This is how we use Zoom. This is how we engage. This is how we have meeting rooms. This is how we connect with our audience. And they literally packaged it up and sold it to their clients. They pivoted with how do they serve their customers remotely. So they taught them how they did this, right? So now they give this package away to all their clients when they come on board. So, hey, if you want to do remote, here's a package we built. They've used as a value add, right? The other thing that people need to do right now is sales automation. They need to look at their funnels, their top of the line, middle and bottom. They've got to look at their funnels in terms of engagement and conversion. And also they need to look at lead management. They need to be able to manage their clients who are coming in through their investment. Because here's the thing, and this is something that's not realized. And if you're in the ad space, you need to tell your clients this. For every client that they don't convert who inquires, they've essentially set that client to the competitor. So what they're doing oftentimes is 75% of their ad budget is actually advertising for a competitor. They're doing their competitors a favor by not engaging the lead. And lead management is becoming absolutely critical. And if you're a lead generation person, you need to have the ability to measure, record, right, or manage the lead. If you plug in, if you are a true lead generation business, you want to plug in, and it's an upsell. It's not an addition to cost, right? It's an upsell. You must create either the ability to record the incoming leads. You've got a record of tracking, the ability to track where that lead went to or how that was managed, or the ability to manage the lead in some form of automation. These are the areas that have the biggest growth for us in the marketplace. So customers need to do this, or business need to do this. This is the most powerful computer in the world right now, right? The cellular phone is the most powerful computer in the world. If you're not marketing to this device, if your customers are not adapting their strategy to the form factor of being visible on this device first, then they're out. They're out of the market, right? The number one thing, it is the number one computer in the world. It's only going to get faster as they are getting much faster. Their capabilities are incredible. We sleep with these things 24/7. We carry things around. And one of the questions I often ask people, especially when I speak to people in business, I ask them this question: how often do you use Google on your phone? And they'll say, well, all day long. Great. Do you pay your bills on your phone? Yep. Do you make purchases on your phone? Yep. Do you look for products and services on your phone? Yep. Do you use live streaming? Do you stream TV shows and programs? Yep. Do you surf YouTube? Yep. Do you spend time on your social media? Yep. Right. So if I'm asking you these questions, my question is, how are your customers doing the same? What are your customers doing? What channels are they on right now, and how are you visible on those channels? If you want to engage clients where they're at or where they should be thinking, mobile is where you should be thinking. So if you're developing websites, you should be designing for mobile first, unless you're in a very unique industry that doesn't use mobile for search, right? But mobile first, that's the form factor that we're all living in, right? So 80-90% of all search is done on a mobile or a tablet device. It used to be that most major purchases were done on a laptop, but that's changing. I spoke to somebody the other day that spent $30,000 last month on their mobile device. I've had months where I've spent up to $25,000, $30,000 on my mobile device in a single month, purely because, and that's transacting, right? That's transacting. And think about that. I'm using, the Apple Watch to transact as well. So I'm getting fully disconnected, not just a mobile, but I'm using other devices, right, to make purchases. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, how is your customer marketing on devices that their customers are engaging in? And the best way to do that is put them in the picture. Do you do this? Do you use this? So right now, if you think about your marketing, is your marketing in alignment to the behavior of your customers? How are your customers searching for you? What are they searching for on a mobile device? Mobile is key, and it's only going to get stronger and far more powerful, right? So 3 things that are a must right now. Number 1, every business needs to be planning and strategizing. And those strategies and those plans have to be fluid. You have to be monitoring. You have to be looking at what you're doing. You have to pay attention right now. You've got no choice. Businesses do not have a choice other than to pay attention right now. Right? That's a really critical factor, because if you're not paying attention, then you're out. Right? You could be wasting money in directions or doing things that are totally counterintuitive and unproductive to your business. So you need to be thinking about, what's my plan? What are we moving? What are we focused on? We can't do business willy-nilly like we used to. 50% of the market is no longer referring us. Like all the businesses that I speak to in the market, people that I talk to in business, how are your referrals going? Referrals are way down, right? How's business going? We've seen a significant drop in business. Why? Well, we've stopped getting referrals. And if 50% of their business were referrals, and referrals are dropping by 30, 40%, that has a huge impact on revenue in the business. So they need to be planning, they need to be strategizing, right? They need to focus on cash flow strategies. They need to focus on drawing in revenue and cash now, not later. Cash now, not later, right? So what are they doing? Where are they focused on making sure that they're bringing in capital, right? And the other thing is, to be in business, they need to, basically stay in business. They need to look for growth opportunities in their market. They need to look at the gaps. They need to look at where those opportunities are. I was talking to a friend of mine in the UK. This happened in the early stages of COVID. And he was telling me that they've self-isolated at home. They thought whilst they're at home, they'd clean up their house. And they decided to get a mini skip, a mini bin, to be dropped outside their home. And so what happened was, they started calling these mini skip businesses, and all of a sudden they're getting messages like, "Sorry, we're going to be shut down right now. We can't help you due to the current the coronavirus." Right? Sorry, we're not open until further notice. So we're getting these calls, and they get one guy on the phone. There's one guy, and he said, "Yeah, we can drop a bin around. We can drop that. We can get that to you the next day or two." Right? And he said, they started asking questions, and the person I was talking to got curious and said, "Wow, I've been ringing a few guys and nobody seems to be in business. You seem to be the only one that's open." He said, "I'm flat out. I am super flat out right now." And I said, "Why are you flat out?" I said, "Well, because I'm the only guy that's open. Right? I'm the only guy booking in." He says, "I've had to go and hire bins for my competition that have shut down so that I can handle all these new phone inquiries we're getting for these skips, these bins. And I've gone to my competitor and say, 'Hey, do you know any drivers that you've had to lay off or had to furlough? Can I hire those drivers? Because we've got a project right now. We need the drivers. Maybe we can give them some work and get them some pay. Can we hire your drivers?' And so they were picking up drivers. Then he was hiring trucks. He said, 'Look, I've run out of trucks. I need to run a few trucks because I've got a project going on. Can I hire your trucks?' Of course, because of cash flow constraints for small businesses, they're going, 'Great, cash flow. Yeah, I'll hire and rent my stuff out to you.' Right? And this was his attitude. And so this is the question. And so, well, how are you handling the whole coronavirus thing? He said, 'Well, I don't need to touch you. I don't need to shake your hand. I don't need to be anywhere near you. In fact, my driver's going to rock up, dump the bin, wave to you, give you a phone call, get you to the front door. We're going to wave to each other and say, 'Hey, here's your bin, right? I'll be back when you finish. Thanks,' right? And then you're going to pay me online. So we've got an automatic payment link. I'm going to give you this link. You're going to pay the bill, and then we'll deliver the thing. So it's all taken care of. You don't have to hand me your credit card. You don't need to swipe physically. It's all taken care of online, right? And the next thing is, when you're done and you let us know that we can come back in, we can come back in. We're going to give you a call and say, 'Hey, everything all right?' We're going to wave to you from the front of the door, right? And then they're going to leave. And that's how we socially distance ourselves from you. So we're keeping you safe, we're keeping our drivers safe, and we're getting those skips to you. All our skips are sanitized, so they're not touched by us. All our team members are wearing gloves, but we want to make sure that you're safe. We want to make sure that our people are safe, and at the end of the day, we're trying to help as many people as we can. That was the attitude of a mini skip business owner in London, right? A mini skip business owner in London who was growing crazy because people still wanted to clean up because they were home. Took advantage of the opportunity, took advantage of the workforce that was available to in the marketplace, took advantage of surplus stock that was sitting there doing nothing, right? To be in business, you want to stay in business, and you need to look for growth opportunities. So things you need to understand to help businesses. You need to understand how a business acquires customers. If you understand how they acquire customers and what problems they solve, then you can actually help them with what you do. Right. The second thing is, how do they maximize the customer spend on their products and services? How do they actually get more wallet share, more revenue per customer? Because this is something that you can strategically plan for and open up to generate more sales. And the other key part is, how do they retain, how do they resell, and how do they upsell their clients? If you understand the businesses you're serving, how they do this, then you've got a much stronger opportunity to actually help businesses to acquire, to retain, to actually scale, create a compounding effect of revenue for their business. The question you have to ask yourself in service delivery is, how do you impact on these key areas to the business? How do you impact on the acquisition of customers? What is the impact from the average dollar sale? How do we actually help people generate more sales from the campaigns or from the service we run? Right? How do we help people to build better relationships and nurture, to enable them to purchase or invest or reinvest or refer customers to those businesses? These are the things you need to understand on how you help business in the marketplace. So there are three types of people in this world of the digital agency or the digital marketing space. And we have probably about 40 different areas that we consult or work in, as in the group or the people who are watching. If you're watching this training, if you're watching this live, right, you fit one of these three categories. You're either just starting out, trying to figure this thing out, see an opportunity, want to help. You might have some skills, you might have some understanding, you might understand the concept of outsourcing, or what I call the middle person marketing business, where you might generate a sale to sell Facebook ads, find somebody to do delivery for you, be the middle person, manage that client's expectations, relationship, hopefully help that client get some results and go and get other clients. That is probably the easiest and fastest way to grow this business, right? You might be a freelancer, number two, right? So you might have between 1 and 4 or 5 customers. 4 or 5 customers, you're probably generating anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month. You're working really hard for your money because you're doing all the fulfillment. And what happens is you're stuck. You're stuck in fulfillment because you cannot take on more clients. Because if you take on more clients, you're going to run out of hours in the day and you've capped your income. So you're in freelance mode and you want to change things up. You want to do things differently. That's one of the reasons why you're watching this training, right? The third thing is, you're an agency. As an agency, you've got a team. You might have an operations manager or a project manager. You might have a couple of VAs. You might have somebody doing marketing for you, right? You might have a team, or you might have a sales person for you, but you're in that category where you're generating probably between 30,000 or 50,000 up to $1 million worth of revenue, and you want to go beyond, right? You're in that 30 grand a month or more. You got 4 or 5 people and you want to scale. These are the three areas that we find ourselves when we look at the opportunity of this business. One of the things about our world, in the agency world, is this business has the lowest barrier to entry, right? I don't need to build an office. I can work from anywhere in the world. Right? I can work on a laptop. I can open up that account. I can sit in a library. I can sit in my garage or my bedroom. I can be you Inc. to the world. So the cost of running this business is very, very low. A laptop. Do I need a website? No, don't need a website. If I did need a website, I can get a WordPress thing for 40, 50 bucks. I can stick that up online. My hosting will be like $4 a month. Then I need an email account. Well, I can get that with my hosting. So I've got presence online. So my physical cost of creating a presence is very low. Licensing for your business. So you might pay $30 for your registration of your solopreneur name, or you might get an LLC and it'll cost you $300 or $400, or you might C Mark or C Corp with a different business structure might cost you $1,000. It doesn't cost a lot of money to start this business. In fact, you don't need any of those things that I've just suggested, right? You can just start with a mobile phone, right? That's it, right? And even that, you don't need that. You just need an internet connection. So the barrier is low. That means there's lots of people seeing this opportunity and flooding into the market. And I've heard people say, John, but isn't this going to saturate the market with all these people doing Facebook ads? No, because there are always new people going to come along in every industry. There's always competition coming to the market. The key thing here, as in this business, one of the cool things about being in the digital marketing or the consulting space is that you're actually being paid to learn. You're being paid to get better. You're being paid to improve your experience. And as you improve your experience, you improve your confidence. As you improve your confidence, you're going to charge a lot more for what you do. And then you're going to start to go through the journey of building this business. There are 3 phases of this business. There are 3 phases of this business. The first phase is what I call the mindset phase. The mindset phase is that $0 to $10,000 a month. There's something about making 10 grand a month in people's heads. It's just a milestone thing. It's 120 grand a year. Now, here's the thing. You don't get to keep that 120 grand because you've got things like costs and taxes and those sorts of things. So you might get to keep maybe $60,000 or $70,000 of that 120,000 after all your expenses and taxes, right? But that's a mindset thing. To get your business from 0 to 10K per month, it's purely up here because it really is only 3 or 4 clients paying you roughly between 2.5 or 2.5 to 3 grand. 3 to 4 clients paying you 2.5 to 3 grand a month is 10,000 a month. It's not a lot of clients, right? Most people can do that in 30 days. You can do that. You probably do that in a week, a couple of weeks. If you're really smart about it, if you do some of the things they're going to be sharing in this training, you'll be able to get 2 or 3 clients really super fast if you put your head in the game, right? If you don't let a whole bunch of other things get in the way. So it's not hard to build a $10,000 business. It's a mindset thing. The second phase of this business is that $10,000 up to $1 million, right? Up to $84,000 a month in recurring revenue, 84 grand a month, 12 months a year, that's $1 million business. That's roughly 27 clients, right? 27 clients paying 3 grand a month is a $1 million run rate business. The game that you're playing from the $10,000 a month to the $84,000 a month is sales and marketing. All you're doing is dialing into sales and marketing. You're going to speed up. And what you want to do is 80% of your energy effort is purely that, sales and marketing, 20% delivery. Remember, we are in the arbitrage world. We can always hire our deliverable. This is where we don't get caught up. If we're the freelancer and we get caught up in the deliverability, we cap our scale and we stop growing. But the sales and marketing brain has to kick in at 10 grand a month because that's how you go from 10 grand a month to 100 grand a month, right? That's the trajectory. It's all sales and marketing. You know, dial in, get leads, convert those leads, improve your sales process, right? It's all about engagement, conversion, right? And getting it done, right? Attract, convert, leverage. That's what you want to do, right? So that's the second phase mindset, right? Sorry, second phase sales and marketing. Third phase of this business is when you build a real business. What I mean by a real business, one where you have team, one where you actually have leaders and management people in place. That $1 million plus, what you're going to do is you're going to systemize and you're going to become a leader, right? $1 million onwards is leadership. So you go from mindset to sales and marketing to leadership, because what you're going to do at leadership level, you're going to hire sales and marketing, right? You're going to hire deliverability. You're going to have a management team. You're going to have an operations team. You're going to build systems and processes. And that's what happens to the next phase to get to 5 million, right? So from 0 to 10, mindset. From 10 to $84,000 per month, sales and marketing. From $84,000 a month to 5 million, it's all about leadership, scale, systems, processes, right? Those are the different phases that you have to go through. Now, some of us, and I'll guarantee you, and I'm going to say this openly, anybody watching this training, 97% of us will never get to that $1 million mark. 97% will never, ever get to. Only 3% make it to $1 million. And of the 3% that make it to $1 million, only 1% of those ever go to 5. Only 1% of those ever go to 5. So the numbers at the top end are really small, right? The numbers at the top end are really small. However, you've got to understand why you're doing this. So if you think that, and this is some other things I just want to share from a training point of view. If you think you're in this game just to make money, you're out. You're not going to survive in this business. If you're in this business just to make money, you are not going to survive in this business, right? You will be out of the market. I've heard people say to me, I've had people literally flat out, John, I'm only in it for the money. I don't give a shit. If you're in it for the money, you're out. You're doing everybody else a favor if you're in it for the money, because you're going to help a whole bunch of other people convert, right? So you've got to want to do this. This is not easy. There's no easy street in this game. Right? Anybody tells you that you can just start an agency from scratch and you can just decide to go and do this and build a business out of this without knowing a few things is telling you giving you the wrong idea, the wrong message. Your first and foremost, the purpose of you being in this business is because you want to help people get results. You want to help and impact on other people's lives, and you want to add value to them, right? That's your purpose. It is the goal from a business point of view. It's the goal of the business to be profitable, to be paid as much as possible for the service that you deliver in the market. And the better the service you deliver, the more you can charge. The better the result that you bring, the more you can charge, the bigger you can scale, right? So understand that the purpose of you being in this game is you want to help people. You've got a skill, you've got an idea, you've got an opportunity, and you want to help. That's first and foremost. Second goal, make money, right? The goal, not the purpose, the goal. Right? And the people who really love this game are the ones that do the best. The people who love this idea of helping people, they love the marketing, they love the process, they love the strategy, they love helping their clients get results. They're the ones that do the best. They're the ones that will actually do what they need to do to make it work. Right? But if you're in this game because you think you're going to make money, then I'm telling you that you are very sorely mistaken, right? Because that's going to be very, very short-lived in terms of strategy. So we are at any of these three stages, and there's some things that we need to be very clear about, right? You want to have a core service offering. The biggest mistake that most people make, both large, whether you're starting, whether you're freelancing, and whether you're an agency, is you offer too many things, right? You offer way too many things. You do websites and SEO and social media and Facebook ads and AdWords and all sorts of things. If you're offering too many things, it's really hard for people to work with you and pick what you're good at. You want to pick the service, one service offering. That doesn't mean that you can't have additional lines of extension. But if you want to be a full service agency, it's going to be a long and painful road to making any money because everything's custom, right? You're going to have to build all your services and structure and strategy around all the different things you offer. And oftentimes you don't charge enough for them. You undervalue that. And when you really sit down and start to look at, and let me tell you, when I start looking at people's profit and loss statements in their business, and they start to realize how they're not making money or they're going broke because they're offering their services too cheap and their costs are too high, this happens all the time. But you want to start with one core service. You do SEO, you just do SEO. If you're a Facebook ad company, just do Facebook ads. If you do AdWords, you do really good on Google AdWords. There are 4 platforms or 5 platforms you can branch out into. You can do YouTube ads, just do YouTube ads. I have a friend of mine, Tom Breeze, is one of the best YouTube advertising guys in the world. He runs the biggest YouTube advertising agency in the world. He only does YouTube ads, nothing else. Even though he works in the Google platform, Google Ads platform, he only does YouTube ads, right? If you do Instagram ads and that's all you do, and people are specialized in Instagram ads, right? If you Facebook, so one core offer and one core service. You want to lead to the market with one core offer, not 5, not 6, 1, right? Makes it much easier to do business, much faster, much easier, right? Number 2, who benefits most from what you do, right? Who benefits the most from what you offer? That's the question you want to ask. Now, we talk about niches and things like that, and I don't want to get into niching here, but I'm happy to answer some questions in a moment for that. But one of the things that you want to be taking into consideration here when who benefits most is what result are you delivering? Who wants that result? What problem are you solving? Who wants that solution? Right? Who is already wanting? I'm going to talk a little about the decision that you're making around hiring those people, right? Number 2, how do you engage? How do you engage the market? So if we have a core offer, let's say we do SEO, and we know that we can do SEO really well for law firms, right? We're really good at ranking them, getting in their Google My Business. We're really good at building citation, really good at linking, really got a good strategy for content and driving positioning. We're brilliant at doing that. So we just help lawyers do amazing SEO, rank for their keywords, generate a whole bunch of organic traffic. So really cool. So we do it for lawyers, right? So we know what we do and we do it for lawyers. How do we engage them? Right? What is your process to engage? Right? Are you going to go direct outbound, or are you going to attract them to you? Are you going to pull them in? Right? Are you going to provide right to the market? You've got to answer this question. How are we going to get in front of them? Right? How are we going to talk to them? Right? Okay. Next, how do you help them become a client? What is your sales process that you walk through that helps them decide that you're the person that they should be hiring? So what is your structure? What is your sales process that you maximize the opportunity? So if we know what we deliver, we know who benefits, we know how we're going to speak to them or engage them, and now we've got to help them become a customer. So we've got to be able to demonstrate to them or educate them in a way to say, hey, here's how we get you the result. We have a proven path that we follow to get the outcome, right? That's the thing, right? And then how do you deliver a great to outstanding result? You can't deliver an awful result or an ordinary result or a mediocre result, right? If you deliver a mediocre result, you're going to lose the client. If it's an average result, ultimately you're going to lose the client, right? So you got to deliver a great result or an outstanding result to the client, because if you do that, a couple of things are going to happen. The client's going to stick, and the client's going to rave, right? You're going to turn your client into an advocate, right? So the other question is, and this is the one that so few people think about, even if you look at if you're starting, if you're freelancing and you're an agency, so few people, right, think about how do they keep that client on board for as long as possible. The average agency person right now in the marketplace, the average length of a client staying with an agency person is between 30 days and 90 days. A month to 3 months is the average. Now, if you have to replace your clients every 3 months, so think about it, right? You got 5 clients, and you at the end of 3 months, you've got to get 5 new clients. Because if you lose all 5 clients, you lose all the revenue. So then you have to go and get your sales and marketing up to scratch, get back those 5 clients. 3 months later, you're looking for another 5 clients. And 3 months later after that, you're looking for another 5 clients, right? Now, all clients leave, but the key here is if you're thinking more, a little bit long-term for your client, then the client will stay longer. If you're thinking short-term for your client, then what you're positioning is short-term, stay short-term, right? So there are 5 core functions of your business. Remember I said there are functions, traditional functions of there. These are the 5 core functions. You need to generate consistent leads from the market. You need to have some form of engaging leads all the time, right? Not once a week, not once a month, not once every 3 months, every single day. Every day. You want to build, you want to grow, you want clients, you've got to be generating leads in some form, some fashion every single day. The second thing is you've got to nurture those leads to a qualified prospect, right? So if your offers or how you're engaging, you've got to encourage them to sit down and talk to you, right? You've got to encourage them to say, hey, well, if you've got this problem, here's a problem to solve. Here's how we solve the problem. Are you interested in having us help you solve that problem, right? Would you like to take the next step with us, and that is generate an appointment? Right? So leads number 1, appointments number 2, nurture the leads into an appointment. You must have a process. The question is, and if you're writing notes down, and if you haven't got the notes, if you haven't got the workbooks, you can download the workbooks from the link that we provided in the groups, and you should have that in the email. So here's the thing, right? We want to deliver outstanding results. Sorry, we want to develop we want our qualified leads or nurtured leads to turn into appointments. The next is, what is our sales process? How do we actually help a client become a customer? How do we do a needs analysis? Do we offer a strategy session? Do we do discovery? Do we actually create a proposal? Do we, what is the mechanism? What are the steps that you do to optimize or give yourself the best possible chance of converting the customer? That's the third level, right? So it's almost like if we were to break up these 3 sections, generating leads, write down, how do I generate leads right now, right? Am I doing cold email? Am I doing LinkedIn? Am I running Facebook ads? I'm doing AdWords campaigns. I'm networking. I'm doing online networking. I'm using social media. Write down all the places that you actually currently are getting leads or you're looking for leads, right? You need to write that down. How do we generate leads? These are the options for my leads. Inbound, outbound, right? Inbound, I'm attracting. Outbound, I'm going direct to the market. I might be scraping lists. I might be getting an appointment set. I might be doing all sorts of things to generate appointments and get leads, right? Nurture leads. What am I doing to help people to jump on a call? What is my offer to engage them into a conversation where we can just see if we're the right fit, right? To see if we're qualified or not, right? Hey, is this the right thing for you? Are you looking to run Facebook ads right now? Have you run Facebook ads before? How did it go for you? Did it work, not work? It didn't work. Okay, talk a little bit about that. What about that wasn't working for you, right? What happened in that process? Great. So now you know how it doesn't work. Would you like to see how we can actually make it work for you? We have a proven path to follow to maximize the opportunity to make it work. Can we walk you through that? Yeah. So let's understand what your objectives are. Let's understand why that's important to you. Let's understand what's stopping you from achieving those outcomes. And then if we can put a plan together, then I can show you how we can work together. And they go, yes. And that's the nurturing the lead into the actual presentation stage. Then you're going to go through discovery. Okay, so you're going to ask a whole bunch of questions, and those questions are designed for you to understand how their business works. Now, if you understand niche, if you get the whole niche thing, then you already understand some elements of what goes on in those markets, how they do business, how they acquire customers. You just need to understand it from their perspective, right? And again, at that stage in your optimized sales process, you want to establish really clearly what their objective is, right? You want to establish why they're doing this, why they want to do the thing that you're selling. You've got to establish whether or not they want to do this right now, right? Or they want to do this later. You have to establish very clearly what the outcomes that they're looking for, the why part of what they're looking for. Then you need to establish, okay, so let's get really clear about the bottlenecks. And then through that process, you're going to say, great, let me help you with a plan, right? I'll show you proven path to get the result. And then you can decide whether or not we work with each other. Are you good with that? They go, yep, that's great, right? You want to eliminate all those objections right up front. What most people do is, and this is the process most people take in this part of the core function, is they offer a strategy session, right? And from the strategy session, then they'll do discovery. So the strategy session is not a strategy session. And generally, the last page is the page that you put the offer on, the price, and generally you probably give them one option. So it's a yes or no answer, right? And then understand that in that process, right, when you're delivering that outcome in that process, you're now putting that price, and you're either going to present the solution to them and ask them, or you're going to send it to them and you're going to see if they want to do this or not. Right. And oftentimes they don't respond to you. They don't respond to your emails. They don't respond to your text message or your phone calls. And oftentimes you might get ghosted. And the reason why this happens is you haven't qualified the person right up front in that nurture qualified lead process, or they're not ready and they don't want to tell you, or they're just busy and they can't get back to you. But this is what happens in your process. So if you actually have an optimized sales process, one that walks people through to helping people get the result, then the only option they have to make or decision they have to make is whether or not they trust you enough to deliver on that plan. And you should be able to do that in your process because you've added value in what you do, right? If you have a conviction and a confidence you can deliver a result, then they're going to buy that, right? That's 85% of the game right there. 85% of the game is they're coming to you and they're talking to you because they want to buy. They're not talking to you because they're exploring or they're thinking about the idea. They're coming to you because they need the solution. So we need to get really clear about that outcome. Right. So then number 4, we need to deliver an outstanding result. That's either you fulfilling on your promise or you hiring in externally somebody who knows how to fulfill that promise so you can leverage your time. So delivering is you want to make sure that the client now gets what they've paid for and a little bit more, right? Under promise, over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. So deliver a great to outstanding result is the 5th function. Right. And the last thing is, and I talked about this a moment ago, the majority of people lose their customers within 30 to 90 days. And that's because most people in this game set it up that way. Just try me out for 30 days. Here, we've got a project fee. The minimum we work for is 90 days. Everything's 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, or 30 days. Try me out for 2 weeks or try me out for 5 days. Free, nothing. Right? There's no commitment, no longevity. So the idea is you want this client working with you forever. If you're getting leads and they're closing deals and they're getting a result, then why would they get rid of you? Right? This is all up to you. And where most people fall down in this game is they really don't build and communicate a relationship and create an emotional connection with their customers. You should have, if you can keep your customers for 100 days or more and you're actively engaged, they should then stay with you for a year or 2 years without any problem. Most people get caught up in the tactical part of delivery, not the relationship part of saying, hey, let's make this better. Let's improve the results. Let's work together in unison, in partnership to do the very thing you say you want, to predictably generate clients for your business, right? So I'm just going to stop right there because we've got a whole bunch of people here on the screen, and I've got a whole bunch of questions, and I've got a whole bunch of questions in Facebook here, if I can see in Facebook. So I'm just looking at here. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate your comment. Mini skip equals dumpster, yes. Question, one from Facebook. Praman Nan, hi, great content. Do you have any examples, case studies for this process in the SaaS niche? Absolutely, I do. In the SaaS niche, if we're talking Facebook ads for SaaS, well, I need some context here to be able to help you, right? So what's the SaaS company? What do they sell? How much are they spending on ads? Who's their target market? What's the core offer that they're making to that market? There's SaaS and there's SaaS, right? There's 1,000 different, or actually more than that. Right now, if you look at WorldCom's SaaS chart, there's 26,000 SaaS companies. So that would be 26,000 different Facebook ad campaigns for 26,000 SaaS companies. So I'm not sure if you're asking me to give you an example of a SaaS ad right now. That's not what I can deliver to you. But I do know what makes a SaaS ad work really well. It's having a really good offer right up front. Number one, a half converting offer is the best offer you can have. And then you've got to dial in the numbers and watch the management of those numbers, right? It's all about making sure that your cost per action and cost per acquisition are really key to generating the best outcomes. Lost a client years ago, even when he was number one on Google, but failed to communicate on the relationship way. Yeah, absolutely, John. Oftentimes we will fail to engage and communicate. And here's the other side of the coin. Sometimes we over communicate. We do too much and we don't charge for that communication. We give too much away, right? So sometimes we're so eager to please that we do so much for the client, right, that we miss out on opportunity, right? So that's really, really key here. Any other questions? I'm just kind of looking at the Facebook questions here. Claire, if you want to paste some questions into the chat here, I can see that would be probably helpful and useful. But I'm happy to answer your questions on anything that I've shared. Love to know what you've taken away so far in what I've shared so far. Do I suggest purchasing specific data from the market or data providers who aggregate, curate industry data? Deo, you can do your own research, but yes, you can buy data. There's a website called IBIS World, ibisworld.com. You can type in industry, and then what it'll do is it'll give you a paragraph on industry statistics. So it'll tell you how fast the industry is growing, what some of the challenges are in the industry, what the industries look like in the last 5 years to the next 5 years, what's the growth trajectory, what's happening. So it'll give you a snapshot. If you want to buy the reports are a little bit more expensive to buy.
What website is that again?
IBIS World, ibisworld.com. ibisworld.com. You can go there, you can type in industry niche, and it will give you the report for the industry. What you're looking for in industries is a 2 to 3% plus growth rate. 2 to 3% industry growth rate means the industry is on the upswing. Anything below that means that the industry is kind of heading back in the other direction. ibisworld.com, that's exactly right, right? Love to know if you want to type in the chat here, if you typing the Facebook, what are your biggest takeaways so far? Biggest takeaways from what I've shared in this communication. Just type in the chat because I want to actually head into the next topic in a moment. So I just want to make sure I'm answering your questions. If anybody has a question, strategy, structure, or anything like that, let me answer the question. Edward Tay, what do I know now? Nurturing leads into appointments. No-show is a big challenge right now for my LASIK market. Any suggestions on what we're doing? Yes. Okay. So Edward, thank you for asking a really tactical question. There's two sides of this coin in terms of no-show. One part is it depends on the offer and the commitment to the offer, right? So that's number one. So whatever offer it is going to appointment, you want to keep the appointments fairly close. So I find that if your appointments are too far out, you'll find that people forget the appointment and you'll get no-shows, right? So you want to keep your appointment range or their ability to make appointments fairly tight within the week, right? The second thing is, and this may mean that they're in multiple calendars as well. The second thing about making sure people show up is give them something to do to show up for, right? If you give them a task or fill in a form or answer a question or you need to bring this information for you tell them what to do. You give them an action item to do. This will actually improve their show up rate because now they realize there's a step. So you want to give them an easy step to actually show up. So that's something you want to also incorporate. Take this, grab this item. This will help you on your appointment. Here's some things I need you to read before you get to the appointment. Here's a video I need you to watch before you get to the appointment, right? And then you've got to make sure in your nurture sequence that you've actually got touch points. So email, text message, voice drop, right? Actually calling, request feedback, reply yes, right? All those sorts of things are things that you want to put into your automation in your leads. So if you're generating leads in the LASIK surgery market to your clients, I would be incorporating automation lead management as well, upselling them to that. So that's a price point increase on that service. And so the easiest way for people to show up is make sure that you keep the appointment range shorter. Second, make sure you give them a task. Watch this, do this, fill in this form, answer this question. That's the second thing. Third thing, you must have multiple touch points. So one of our champions that we work with, Brian, has 17 touch points between the time they make the appointment to the time they show up. And their show up rate is around 95%. It's huge. And the 5% that they don't show up, then they automate and sign those people back in. We've done the same thing with some of the companies that I've consulted to, some of the companies I'm involved with Breakthrough, where we have multiple touch points, right, where we maximize the show-up rate. We do even do this in our own businesses, in our own agency business. We should be doing that as well. Somebody books an appointment, give them a task, right, give them some homework to do before they get to the appointment. It means that they're engaged, right? And that homework has to be relevant to why they're showing up, right? It's a process, right? You need to say, hey, it's really important to do this. So for example, I ran a test last week, and this was purely a strategy. What I did was I drove to an appointment, and then from that appointment, I had to actually respond, right, with a task. So I had access to material. And then the key was, okay, I need you to watch this material. And then from that, I need you to reply to me that you are taking the next step, right? You're really excited about taking the next step. So 70% of the people replied. The 30% that didn't reply, we basically went back and said, okay, obviously this is not important to you. It's not relevant. We will actually remove you from the material, right? Obviously, we'll remove your material. As soon as we did that second touch point, all of a sudden we had a huge uptake. So everybody responded to that email. So if you're giving something to them, and if they don't respond, if they're not following your process, you can just take it away. Say, hey, thanks. Obviously, this is not important to you. We've asked a request. You haven't been able to reply. We haven't heard back from you. If we don't hear back from you by the end of the day, we're going to remove that piece from you and take it away, because obviously this isn't for you, and we'll cancel your appointment, right? So you'll find generally people will jump to and they'll stay in. So that might be giving you some ideas on how to maximize show-up rates. It really is about making it relevant and making sure it's timing and making sure you are letting them know why it's important to show up, because they inquired in the first place. You want to help them with their inquiry, and you want to help them get the result. And with LASIK, that's kind of a no-brainer. So Edward, I hope that helps you. Johnny, promotion-only marketing in a battle with those types of marketers. Massive companies have felt website visits and still stick with cold shoulder promotion, only marketing, ad blindness. Yeah, we're in a dynamic world, Johnny. Thank you for bringing this up. We are in a dynamic world. We have to change up our strategy. What worked 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, 3 months ago may not work today. Ad blindness is a really big thing. A lot of people run campaigns and they dial them in. And what happens is they get lazy. They go, great, I've got a campaign that's scaling. I'm just going to keep running. But all of a sudden the ad cost starts to go up and up and up and up. And there's less interaction, there's less conversion, purely because people send the same ad over and over again to that audience. So we need to have a rotation of marketing. Same thing if we're doing an omni level of targeting or omni marketing to the masses on multiple channels. We need to change up every 10 days. We need to change the message every 10 days. We might make the same offer, but we need to make the same offer in a different way so people see it in a different light. Otherwise, we're going to end up increasing ad cost. Message blindness is a really big reason why a lot of campaigns fail. And here's the thing, and this is for all you Facebookers and AdWords people, right? And Instagram and retargeting people. This is your opportunity. You can say, hey, this is why ads don't work. This is why a lot of ad campaigns fail. They get traction in the beginning and they lose traction because they're not managed properly. They're not optimized. They're not tested. They're not improved. And so if you've been experiencing up and down cycles right now, and right now on Facebook, everybody's experiencing up and down cycles, right? Then you need to change up your strategy. You need to look at what you're doing. That means your account is not being managed effectively in terms of what you're doing. So lead management is a platform that integrates well with Facebook ads that I recommend. Para, Go High Level is a really cool one. Salesforce does, HubSpot does. All major CRMs integrate with ad campaigns. All major customer relationship management systems, all of them integrate with advertising through your systems. If you're using funnels, if you're using things like ActiveCampaign, if you're using things like ClickFunnels, Actionetics, Ontraport, all those sorts of things, Keep, Infusionsoft, all of those can track and feed leads into a lead management system. What off-the-shelf software would you recommend for lead capture? Just Google lead capture software. You know, ClickFunnels, Instapage, whatever you want. It depends on your strategy. In asking, can you kindly share what you're currently doing to build a powerful buyers list? How we build a powerful buyers list is two ways. One, we do the homework on the market, on the industry. First thing is, who do we want to work with? What types of business we want to work with? So for example, in a market that we're in, that I'm part of, we're in the SaaS market, we're in health SaaS. In the health SaaS market, we only want to work with companies 20 million plus in funded. So we went to a website and found companies who had $20 million plus funding in the last 6 months. It gave us 200 companies that had that funding. Now, out of those 200 companies, we didn't want to work with all of them because we couldn't, right? Some of our stuff wasn't in alignment with all those companies. But we chose about 50 of those companies that we did want to work with. And so what do we need to look at? Where were they spending money? Were they advertising? How proactive were they with their marketing? What were their sales like? We did the homework. We did the research. This is how we actually identified what we perceived to be a premium buying customer. Then the second part of this strategy, Edward, and thank you for asking, is we actually went to influencers in the market, right? So as in influencers, people who consult the market, people who are iconic CEOs. We went to the association, people who are in that market, and we started asking questions of them. Who do you see are the best players in the market? Who are the people who are really switched on when it comes to marketing? Who are the people who you feel are doing the best or pivoting or innovating right now, in your opinion? And then in those conversations, sometimes say, hey, I'd love to be able to connect. Can you connect with them? So in our database, we have 140 people in that market. That database will be worth about $10 million worth of revenue in the next 2 years, right? Right now, that database has capitalized more than $1 million worth of revenue in the last 6 months, right? From scratch. From there, right, we want to build a relationship with those 130 companies, 138 companies. 50% of that database, Edward, is referred. It wasn't us generating, it was us asking the question of who's the best, who should we speak to, who's that. So now in a strategy, and I'll share this strategy in 2 days' time, right? Our strategy is to build in the relationship so we're engaging that customer. Our strategy is to build in the relationship so we're engaging. So we're creating multiple touch points, hit points, to actually get in front of this customer, because we know that our initial value per customer is $100,000. The lifetime value of the customer will probably be $250,000 to $300,000 or more per customer, right? So if we know that, we know what we've got to do to invest in that relationship to get that thing going, right? We don't need to work with a lot of clients to do very well at a high level of revenue. So hopefully that that answered your question, Edward. Yeah, I mean, dream client list. Who do you want to work with, right? You can actually select who you want to work with and then go and let them know that you want to work with them. One of the best ways to open the door to picking up clients is let them know, hey, I love your business. I love what you're doing. I really want to find a way in which I can support you, add value to you, and work with you. I'll guarantee you that's one of the easiest ways to open up a door to a conversation, to someone say, okay, great, who are you? Thanks for taking the interest, right? I have people asking me that question all the time. John, how do I work? I really want to work with you. Great. Who are you? Let me know. What are you thinking, right? What are you thinking about wanting to work with me? That is one of the easiest strategies to get in the market. We choose you, not you choose us. We want to add value to you, and hopefully we can partner up and share that value, right? It's a lot easier to do that when you're picking and choosing your clients than if you are literally broadcasting and broadly trying to generate clients in the market. You're actually not having to filter in to so many clients. After you find some of these potential clients, do you leverage any personalized cold email marketing? Daya, to answer your question, I think I just kind of briefly touched on it. Email, text, Facebook, direct message, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? Pick up the phone, call, right? Direct mail, send lumpy, send some mail to engage, right? Run some content, do some targeting for them, get them to engage with your information, all of the above, Deo, all of the above. Because think about it, right? What would you do when you knew the client was going to spend a minimum of $100,000 with you, right? How do we speed up, or how do we heat up that process, right? We're picking and choosing. By the way, there's nothing wrong with playing the field at low-cost clients on volume, but you've got to be systemized to play volume. You've got to be systemized to pay volume, right? So, last question. Can you share what you do to optimize your conversion sales process? Yes, Edward. One of the most important core functions of your business is to optimize sales process. We train. So the first part we train on is making sure that we eliminate all the objections up front. That's the first thing. What are the five or six biggest objections we get? Not enough money, bad timing, need to think about it. I've got a partner involved, need to get a question from a partner. I can't handle leads right now. We're not ready to grow. I want to handle all those objections right up front, so that 80-90% of what I've got to talk about is, okay, you've got the money, you know what the money is. So money objection is really simple. To work with us, you've got to invest this amount of money. Can you handle that? Yes or no? And they go, yeah, I can handle that. Great. So we've got the money. So when I ask you, that's what you're in for. You cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Great. In their mind, I've got to tick. Money's not a problem right up front. Before I show them anything, before I even offer anything to them, I'm telling them exactly what they're in for right up front, right? Number two, timing. Is this a now thing or a later thing? Do we need to do this now, or is this something you're considering, something you want to do later? When I say now, 1 to 10, 10 out of 10, yeah, if we've got the right plan, we've got the right solution, we need to start doing this right now. Is there anything that would stop you from doing this right now? No, we need to do it now. So I've got clarity on I need to do it now, not I need to think about it for later, right? Number two, is there a partner involved? Hey, we know that, do you have a partner, your husband, your wife, right, are involved? Do you have, are there key stakeholders in this business that are responsible for the strategy and the development of this business? Yes or no? Yeah, there are. Great. Well, we need those people to be in on this process when we deliver a plan, so that they can ask their questions as well to get some clarity. So we want to give them that opportunity. So they need to be here, or they need to be part of this in conversation. Do you agree? Yes. Can we make that happen? Yes. Right. Great. And then I need to know that they need to make a decision. So I'm going to ask them, say, listen, very quickly, right up front, when we present this solution to you, I just want to know, are you in a position to say no to this? Right? And they go, yeah, I'm in a position to say no. Right? At the end of this presentation, guys, I don't see this as a fit. If I don't see this as the right move for us, are you in a position to say no today? Can you make that decision? Yes, we can make that decision. Awesome. That means that if we've got the right plan, we've got the right structure, that you can say yes to this. I go, yeah, of course. Well, great. Because if you can say no, you can say yes. Right? Great. So now I know that I'm going to get a decision. I'm not going to do, I need to follow up, I need to think about it, I need to blah, blah, blah. So how do I improve that? I practice, right, eliminating all the objections up front. One of the, we say one of the reasons why people don't decide to go is they need to think about things. I just want to be very, very clear with you. If we're going to invest time with each other, we're investing time because we're interested in moving forward, right? So if you need to consider this, then we don't need to move forward. Because if you're considering it, then there's no point in having a conversation. You're not ready to do it, right? But if you are serious about this, right, then we need to make sure that we're doing this or we're not doing this. It's a yes or no. There's no think about it. Are you okay with it? Go, yeah, that's no problem at all. I'm going to be very decisive, right? And then this neat little trick that I teach, right, my champions and the people that I work with, there's this one little trick that if you just anchor this thing, right, they'll buy. If you just anchor this one little thing, they'll buy. Now you're going to ask me what that trick is, and I'm not going to give you the trick, right? But the thing is, if you ask for yes or no, that's half the battle, right? You can say no, great. You can say yes, great, right? So that's the battle right there. So then we need to improve, right? We need to improve our ability at the front end. That's where by the way, that's where we pretty much set up the entire sale. It's really 80%, because when they sit down with you for strategy, Edward, pretty much, they're just trying to figure out whether or not you're the people they want to go with. 80% of the sale should be done before they get to the sale. 80% already done. And when they get to the sale, they've gone, okay, we need to do this. We just want to figure out that this is right. That's all they're trying to figure out. So in that 20%, you're either going to convince them not to buy or to buy. In that last 20%, it's your job. You're going to either repel them, you're going to tell them to go away, right? Or you're going to scare them away or put doubt in their mind, or you're going to make it very logical for them to say yes. So hopefully, Edward, that answers your question. Probably the biggest thing, and we talk about this a lot in our sessions, in our trainings, and in our coachings. We do spend a lot of time framing that. Let's get really clear right up front that we are making a decision here. We spend a lot of time doing that, because at the end of the day, when you go through this process and you're wanting to present and work with people, the only reason you really want to go into the presentation is you genuinely want to work with this company. You genuinely know that they've got a problem and they need to hire someone like you, and you genuinely know you want to deliver for this company. And if you put yourself in that position, Edward, 90% of the time you'll actually have a sale. 90% of the time. If you do that one piece up front, eliminate all the objections before you get to that presentation, that will dramatically improve your conversions by 50% straight away. You'll have a 50-50 conversion rate if you eliminate everything up front. If you get that tied up, their emotion, their reason, their resolve as to why they want to do this, you do that right up front and you get clear about that. They're clear in their mind. They're going, well, I guess we just got to see if this is going to work, right? If you get that part of it, I know Daniel and your sales team, right, will crush it. Will crush it. I know they already do crush it, but they're going to even crush it more, right? So that's probably where I think the improvements are. The improvements are in the disqualification. The improvements are in the very clear clarity of like, I want to do this. I need to do this now. Yes, we need to fix this thing. We need to make it work, right? We have to get that conviction in their mind. And then we just want to eliminate the price, right? So right up front. So look, roughly when our clients work with each other, the investment starts at between here and here. My question to you is, can you handle that budget? Can you handle that? Right? Do you understand that you need to make that investment to make this work? Yes or no? And they're going to say, yes, I can handle it. And then when you get back into the sales process, you're going to ask exactly the same thing. Remember yesterday we talked about the budget. Are you cool with that? Yep, we're very cool with that. So then it just becomes a matter of a fact. So now they're not scared of the price anymore, right? The person that I find that is more scared of the price is us. We're more scared of the price than the customer's scared of the price, because the customer has no idea what the price is until you tell them. So if you're scared, you're going to make them scared. I would rather not make them scared and just help them right up front, right? I've got it. I just need one of you in my company. And you could have already tried yesterday. There's a lot of me out there, Edward. There's a lot of great people who do what I do. This is the thing. So hopefully that I want to, first of all, Edward, I want to say thank you for asking the question, because for the rest of the people here, I think it's important to understand that this is where, from a business opportunity point of view, of the critical factor of business, conversions, or we spend a lot of time trying to get somebody on that phone, or we spend a lot of time trying to get somebody to agree to sit down with us to consider what we have to offer. So if we're going to spend that time, we might as well do everything we can to make it a yes, rather than no thank you, or I need to think about it. We have to, if we can do that, then we're going to generate way more clients. People give up too easy. People give up too soon. People don't ask enough. People don't even ask, right? People too scared to ask in that process. And we all go through that. But at the end of the day, if you know, and you're helping people, so everybody here, you're out there to help people, right? You are out there to help people, right? If you're helping people, then there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Because you know that you're bringing good to the people you're working with, right? So if you have that idea or that ideal, say, hey, look, my whole goal is to help you get the result. And I just want to make sure that we do everything humanly possible at our end to make sure that happens. And at your end, we want to make sure that you look after the very people that we generate for you, so you can help them into buying or investing in services. So if we can partner up together and bring that partnership where I help you and you help the people that you do what you do best, then can we work together? That's a really subtle approach to asking, right? Oftentimes when you take that approach of, hey, I just want to do good, right? I want to help. To be able to do that, I need your side of it too. So can we figure it out together, how we can help each other and get this thing done, right? So that's the easy part of sales, okay? I missed them hitting, we'll need to watch it. Whoever RM is, we're watching it live right now. So I'm going to get back. I'm just looking at any other questions. By the way, thanks for those who have asked questions. I really appreciate you asking these questions. Great to see some familiar faces here too. So this is awesome. So just give me a 1 if we're all good to go. Just type 1 in the chat if I see the ones. If they've got questions from Facebook, we've got lots of ones. Okay, we're going to keep on going because I want to kind of deliver what I've promised on here. So I want to thank you because, as I said, I'm doing this every day. So let's go back to our screen sharing. And I just need to just give me a thumbs up if you can see my slides. Let's talk about leads, right? Thank you. All right. So sometimes we just don't know what's going on in Zoom. And I want to make sure that you can see what we're talking about. All right, so here we rock and roll. I'm just making sure we're doing this. All right, best qualified leads. So what are the best qualified leads in the marketplace? That's what we're looking for. So the best qualified leads right now is what businesses do you get the best results for with your product or service? What types of businesses get the best result with what you do? If you're really good at helping accountants get clients, understand that accountants is a market, right? If you're really great at getting great SEO results for lawyers, then you're getting great results for lawyers. Now, if you're a starter and you're using a third-party provider to deliver those results, ask them, who do you get great results for? And that's going to give you an indication of the types of businesses you should be going after, right? My next thing is, who's the decision maker? Right? Who's going to buy? I do not want to have a conversation with anybody other than the person who's going to invest. I don't want to have any conversations with anybody other than the person who's going to write the check, give me the credit card, do the direct debit, right? No one else, a decision maker only. Oftentimes we find ourselves not talking to the right person, right? Oftentimes we find ourselves not talking to the right person. So they already have to be spending money on marketing. If you're in the marketing game and you help people with marketing, you don't want to help people who don't spend money on marketing. If you're helping people who don't spend money on marketing, who don't value marketing, then it's an uphill battle. Now, I just want to pre-qualify what I've said, just for those who are watching this training. I want to qualify if they're not spending money. Right now, a lot of businesses are coming into the market and are starting to run ads that have never run ads before online, right? And the reason why is they realize that that's where the customers are, that's where the market is, that's where they have to be. They have to be visible. So for the people who are just coming to the market, know that you're going to have to educate them. You're going to have to spend more time setting expectations. You're going to have to spend more time making them understand how what you do works for them and how it works in relation to them getting results. So at the lower end of the market, the new people are coming in and advertising for the first time, who've never done this before, you're going to have to work a little harder with them. You're going to have to provide them with the education and the understanding of those people, because those people already spending money already know that marketing works. They already know that there's an investment to be made to generate client opportunities, right? So for me, if I'm going to sell SEO, AdWords, Facebook ads, sales funnels, lead generation, lead management, app development, web development, I need to know that if I'm related, or what I'm doing is related to some form of marketing function, I need to know that they are spending money on ads. I need to know whether that be TV ads, radio ads, newspaper ads, Facebook ads, AdWords. If I was in the AdWords market, I would only sell to people who sell AdWords first, who use AdWords first. If I was doing AdWords, the first market that I would go to is anybody who's running ads, paid ads right now. Right now, that might sound counterintuitive, but 80% of most ad campaigns are under-optimized. They're not optimized right now, right? If 80% of the ads are not optimized right now, that means that they are wasting money and they need your help to optimize, right? So my first call, if I'm doing Facebook ads, I'm going to go and market or sell to people who already do Facebook ads, not the people who don't do Facebook ads, right? Sell to the people who spend the money in the platform you're in, right? If I'm going to do SEO, I want to go and target companies that have been looking at their link structures, investing in SEO, because they're the companies that value SEO, right? The improvement of engagement, content, driving traffic, right? Getting better conversions, on-page, off-page optimization. I need to know that they're spending money on marketing, right? Or SEO, right? So I have sales teams. People who have sales teams need leads. They need to fill their salespeople's pipelines, right? So they need lots of them, not just some leads. They need a lot of leads, and they need them consistently. So companies that have sales teams, one or more, right? One salesperson. If you've got a company owner and a sales guy, that sales guy needs leads, right? So, or a salesperson, I should say, needs leads, right? So anybody who's got sales teams, definitely in the pocket as the best qualified customer. Number two, they've got assets and inventory. What does I mean by assets and inventory? So assets, offices, buildings, showrooms, factories, storage, warehousing, infrastructure, technology, right? Assets, inventory, stock, right? Whether they've got some form of physical inventory in the marketplace, right? They're a warehouse, a showroom, they've got a whole bunch of stock on the floor and a whole bunch of stock in the back warehouse. So inventory and assets, as long as they've got inventory and assets, that's a lot of money. A lot of money tied up, a lot of money they've got to move, right? I like companies 20 plus employees. So I like that sweet spot between 5 and 10 million revenue, 5 and 10 million revenue. So any company that has 20 or more employees is sitting in that range of that 5 to 10 million. Now, you're going to ask me, John, how do I know, or how do I find out if companies have 10 or more employees? Well, you can go to LinkedIn and you can go into Sales Navigator and you can search companies, 50 plus employees, 10 plus employees, and that'll give you the number of employees. Or there's the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing list, the inc.com, 5,000 fastest growing list. You can actually go into search and go companies with 20 or more employees, right? Or you can search companies $5 million and up. Now, on the current Inc. 5,000 fastest growing list, there are 1,250 companies that are 5 million plus. There are 1,250 prospective customers in 50 different niches on the Inc. 5,000 list that are 5 million plus if you just go and search in advanced search. And they'll tell you, you can actually search by state, you can search by country, you can search by city, right? You can actually go and drill down into that list. So the sweet spot, how do I find companies, is really easy. You can even look up in the A to Z business guide in your library system in North America. If you look up that A to Z guide in your library system, you can actually find, it'll dedicate and show you companies that are that have a certain turnover rate. So you can actually select by turnover. So these are the best qualified leads. This is the demographic of what a good lead looks like, right? Who are you aiming for, right? The low end of the market, or the small to medium business market, that $500,000 to $2 million mark, they are going to spend between $1,000 to $3,000 a month. $1,000 to $3,000 a month is roughly what they're going to spend. $1,000 to $3,000 a month, right, is roughly what they're going to spend. So if you want to play the volume game, well, actually, I'll go lower. They're going to spend between $500 a month on a service to $3 grand. 500 to $3 grand if you're in that 500K to $2 million mark. That's roughly what they're going to spend on you. They're going to spend anywhere between $6,000 to $12,000 or up to $20,000, $24,000 a year. And what you're aiming for as in the agency space, the minimum revenue you want to earn per client over the minimum of a year or time or project is 25 grand. That would be the minimum investment of a client that makes in your not in ad spend, not in marketing cost, just roughly the management fee they're paying. So every client, right, minimum investment in your services, this is where you become profitable, $25,000 they have to be investing in your services and your management services. So that's roughly two grand or more per month, 2,000 or more per month, right? The top 2,000, if we look at, middle market companies, $20 million to $100 million, very easy to find, 100 employees plus in a lot of cases for these types of companies. Very easy to find on LinkedIn, very easy to find on the top 100 lists. If you just go Google top 100 law firms, top 100 accounting firms, top 100 engineering firms, top 100 painting companies, top 100. If you look at the top 100, generally the top 50 are in this category. Generally the top 50 will be in the category of the $20 to $100 million mark. Very easy to find. Middle level companies are really good to work with because they know that they need to invest in your services and they know they need to get it right. They're actually easier to work with. They're less demanding because they're hiring out for a project. Just going to take a little sip here. They're less demanding on your time, energy and effort in the market. So middle level companies, $20 million to $100 million are a really big sweet spot. By the way, and here's the other thing. So from this perspective, in this market, from that $20 million to $100 million market, there's way less competition. Way less people talk to these companies than they do to all the small businesses. Small businesses, a lot more accessible. Bigger companies, you're having to jump through a couple of hoops. But there's way less competition. There's so much easier to close deals at this level. Some of the champions that I work with, they only target companies at a certain run rate revenue, and that's it, because they know that the average client is going to be worth investing between 100 to 200,000, and they have no problem in writing upfront checks for that kind of money. They have no problem just going and slam down $100,000 on a project with a Facebook ad guy. No problems at all, right? They're much easier to deal with, and you get paid up front, right? Which is really cool. So those middle-level companies are easier to deal with, easier to identify, and much easier to convert than the smaller businesses, right? The next level of company, by the way, I'm going to give you a little bit of market intelligence here. The top 2,000, the $100 million plus companies. These companies, the top 2,000 and the mid-level companies right now, they are the ones that are spending the most money hiring you. They are I'm just going to say that again. Those companies, they are the ones right now that are spending the most money, right, hiring independent solopreneurs to do their SEO, their Facebook advertising, their AdWords campaigns, their web development, their content creation, their social media management, their funnels, their strategies, their email marketing. They are the ones that are spending the most money and are hiring the most people in your market right now. Now, you would think that how on earth is that possible, right? How on earth is that possible? Because they realize at the top end of town, the top agencies are more highbrow, right? Branding and strategy. That's what they do. Top end, highbrow branding, messaging, mass level marketing, right? And they're paying for strategy at that level. What they're looking for people is with tactical skill. You can't get Facebook advertising skills at college, right? College isn't teaching you how to optimize a Facebook ad campaign. College isn't teaching you how to craft a compelling offer. College isn't teaching you how to be a great copywriter or a great automation specialist. They're not teaching that, right? So they can't go to their regular recruiting grounds and hire people like this. They're having to hire people who've got skills at the coalface like you. People are already running Facebook ads for businesses. People are already running AdWords campaigns. So to me, and for you, for those who are watching this training, for you right now, right? This area, this part of the world is the fastest, biggest, booming area for us. They are hiring solopreneurs right now. They are hiring people who are really good at running Facebook ads. They're hiring people who are really good graphic designers, content creators, videographers, all sorts of people, social media. You cannot believe. Right now, if you go onto the job boards, a lot of companies are hiring people with your skills and they're paying them, right? A social media coordinator in the United States right now, $70,000 US. For a social media coordinator in the US, right? A social media director, 150 to 200K plus a year, right? They are hiring right now. There's more than 10,000 positions in the marketplace. The problem is they don't have anybody with a skill. So rather than hire somebody, they'll hire a contractor. They'll hire you. So this is the sweet spot in the market. So I'm just going to stop right there for a second and I'm going to answer some questions because I know there are some pressing questions in what I've just shared. What about Australia, John? Absolutely in Australia. It's very much happening here right now in Australia, Tanya. If we look at what's going on in the middle market and if we look at the markets right now that are a little bit recession-proof, if we look at financing, we look at lending, we look at professional services, at that range, they're the ones that are pivoting and they're the ones that are hiring right now because they realize they've made huge mistakes. They haven't got their act together when it comes to marketing, especially online. So they're the ones that are going, hey, we need to rebrand, we need to redo the site. They're the ones that are sitting and going, right, how do we make this Facebook thing work, right? They're the ones sitting there going, how do we get our AdWords campaigns working? They can't go to a big ad agency because a big ad agency doesn't deliver the service. They're outsourcing. So what a lot of these companies are doing, they're cherry picking. They're just looking for people who've got that skill set to go, great, let's unleash that skill set into our business model. There is so much business, like, and I know why, and I know what I'm about to say to you as a group of the people here, both on Facebook and on my Zoom here, what I'm about to share with you. There is no excuse. You are the only excuse why you're not busy. You're the only excuse of why you're not busy. Because there is so much demand, so much demand. I hear it every day. I'm seeing it every day. Some of the conversations that I'm having with people with agencies, I spoke to a guy the other day, they've got 1,000 team members in their agency. I don't want to name the brand, but they've got 1,000 people working in their company, right? They've seen in the last 7 months a 40% increase in clients, a 40% increase in their sales in new clients in the marketplace. They are flat out. They cannot keep up their hiring. They're hiring like crazy. In the middle of a pandemic, they are on a massive hiring surge. They're training internally to train up, and they're hiring like crazy, right? So right now, that's telling you that the market is really, really buoyant. I've spoken to a lot of people who are leveraging $1 million, $2 million agencies in this market. They're all flat out. They cannot cope with the work. They cannot cope with the work. They're looking to outsource the work to people like you. Right? They're going, well, geez, there's a whole bunch of cheap asses out there that'll do the work for us. Let's just go and hire another agency to do this work because we need the work. We need the manpower, right? So they know arbitrage. They're going, well, if you're willing to get $1,000 a month, great. I'll charge a client $5,000. I'll pay you $1,000. You can sweat for my client. I'll make all the profit. They're looking right now. They're hiring people like you as if you were the white labeler. That's what they're doing. They know that that's their only opportunity to scale in the market. So if you're not busy, you're not freaking working. You're not doing anything, right? You're not putting yourself in front of the freight train where people are asking the question right now. That's the thing. And by the way, every market right now is desperate to get this right. They are desperate to get this right. So if you're not feeling or hearing the desperation, you're talking to the wrong people. You're talking to the wrong markets. Because right now in every major market, there's stuff going on. If you look at, so it's really weird. I'm noticing, this is just an observation. I have a lot of people I work with in the United States, a lot of people I work with in Europe, but a lot of branded type companies right now are spending, like in the time where you would think that they would be retracting their marketing, they are overspending, overcapitalizing on advertising and marketing, overcapitalizing, because they know that what's happening right now isn't forever. They know that this is very short-lived. So they're going to start to run, right, as much as they can, because they know that that gap is widening. They just want to be the only player in their market. So they're buying the opportunity. I would assume the middle market companies, 20 million to 100 million, are mostly national companies rather than local companies. Some companies, Ed, are local. Some state-based, even city-based companies run those revenues. They're not nationally based companies. There's a lot of companies in cities all over America that make $20 million in every city in America. San Diego has a lot of them. San Diego, LA, Orange County. God, there's, just go into just between, I think it's Costa Mesa near the mall. Look at the light industrial area there. There's so many companies in there that are 25 million plus that are not national companies. There's freaking finance companies in there that are not national companies, independent brokers that are doing 20 million a year or more. There's tons of business in every city. They don't have to be national brands. A lot of them are local brands. A lot of them are established in their own cities, right? Or they might be established in multiple cities in their own state, in their own state. So yes, there's a ton of business out there. There was a question by Octavio. Should you go after the big companies out the gate? Ahmed, if you think you can serve big companies, then my question is yes. You want to have a mix, right? Because here's the thing I know about working with big companies. All you got to do is get one. If you get one big company and you help that big company get a result, you're going to get a second big company and a third big company and a fourth big company. And the other thing is, if you do a great result for the big company you're working with, they're going to share you with their channel partners. So that opens up yourself to working with other companies. I like to have it so when I was working on strategy with Breakthrough, in the early stage, it was a smaller business we were going after. Then we had a mix of maybe 3 or 4% that were kind of that medium range, right? Now our mix is 30%, 35%, well, getting up to now 40% medium range, and a good 15% is branded top of the range, right? And then we have 60%, right? So about 35 to 40% is actually the rest of the market, right? So we've got a mix. We're not opening ourselves to risk by just focusing on one audience. So we're marrying this up. But if you can get a branded client, Ahmed, if you're asking this question, if you are getting a branded customer, a branded client, that opens the door to a bunch of big clients. And by the way, and I just want to give you the psychology here. If you go to a big company and you're charging a small price, they will laugh you out the door. If you're going to go big companies, you have to go big price. You can't go in cheap, right? You have to think about how much money they go and spend on an ad campaign. These companies, the $20 million companies, the $30, $50 million companies, they're not questioning about spending $500,000 or $1 million bucks. They don't think twice about writing off that money on their marketing, right? So the rule of thumb is generally 5% of revenue is where the marketing budget is. So you've got a $20 million company, right? 5% is $1 million, right? You've got a $50 million company, 5% is $2.5 million, right? That's a big budget. Now, if you come in and say, hey, I'd like to take $30,000 or $25,000 of that $2.5 million budget, they're going to go, what do I get for $25,000, right? Why are you charging 25 when the ad agency we hire charges $300,000 just for a conversation, right? Their expectation levels, right, you have to match where they're at, because they don't have any, by the way, they're not going to pay you monthly. They're going to write the whole check up front, right? If I look at my champions, the people I work with that are working with the 6-figure plus contracts, they don't do monthly contracts. The client, you know, if it's a $100,000 deal, the client writes a check for $100,000, not 50, not 2,000 a month or 5,000 or 10,000 a month, right? Great, it's $100,000 a project. There's $100,000. Thank you very much. Up front. Now go do the work, right? So bigger companies will actually pay up front in the process. I've noticed that when I go after larger companies that are 20 million and above, usually they don't have the budget issues, but the marketing director or the social media director, how do we convince? So they're the ones that want to hire you, Edward. They want to hire you. The marketing director and the social media director want to hire you for your skill, for your set of what you deliver as a result. So the question you've got to ask is, why are we sitting here having this conversation? Right? What do you need to do? Because the reason they're asking you is because they aren't able to fulfill that in-house. And if I'm being invited by a director of marketing to talk about a Facebook ad strategy for their company, then they're interested in hiring us to manage Facebook ads, right? But if I'm going to try and convince a company they should be spending money on Facebook ads, and they do Facebook ads already and have an internal team, then my only option is to assess the quality of their internal team. The only way I'm going to win that deal is to say, well, okay, to look at what we can deliver from a value proposition, we need to make an audit and assessment. So my first offer is, let's do an audit. I'm going to charge you $10,000 to do a Facebook audit, right? So, you know, what does that audit include? Well, we want to see every offer. We want to see every connection. We want to see all the campaign strategy. We want to see all the click-through rates. We want to see the cost per action. We want to see the cost of acquisition. We want to see what the deal structures are. We want to see where we're wasting all the attrition of ads. We want to see the different systems you've got in place, right? That's what we're going to do. If your team isn't doing that, we're going to find the fail safes very quickly, and this is why you hire us to do your Facebook ad campaign, right? So marketing directors are not, the marketing director that invites you in to help them, they're looking to hire you. The reason they're wanting that conversation is because they can't do it themselves. So hopefully that answers your question. Are you seeing longer or shorter sales cycles for bigger companies? Just depends on where they are in the buying zone, right? If there's an urgent need, then the cycle is short. I generally think the cycle is shorter. The cycles are shorter. Just to give you perspective, so I'll give you dollar value per cycle, right? Dollar value per cycle. So anything under 10 grand, right? The sales cycle is 24 hours to 4 days, right? Anything under $10,000, the sales cycle from the time of initial engagement to the time of presentation, making decision, could be 3 or 4 days, between 24 hours and 3 or 4 days. That's if they're interested, right? That's the buying cycle. So 10 grand below 12 grand, easy decision, not a big consideration. For a small business who doesn't have the turnover, that could be a big consideration, right? So 30 grand, like you're talking 3 grand a month or 30 grand, you're probably looking at between 3 days and 8 days. 3 days and 8 days is about the cycle for a $20,000. So let's say 1 or 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks is about the average for that 20 grand, 25 grand mark, right? 50,000, 5 grand a month. The consideration is going to be roughly about between 10 days and 4 weeks. 10 days and 4 weeks for about 50 grand. 10 grand a month, $100,000, roughly 8 to 12 weeks. Roughly 8 to 12 weeks, because the higher the spend, the higher the consideration, depending on, and that's the rationale is depending on how much, when they think of that budget, how much the affordability from them in making that decision. So it's going to be around that 4 week, 6 week period, or 4 weeks to 8 weeks on $100,000, right? 10 grand a month, right? Anything above $100,000 could take you anywhere between 10 weeks to 6 months. Anywhere above 100 grand, depending on where they are in the cycle. So this is why qualification is really important. It'll take anywhere up to that period. $1 million deals. We just had one of our champions close a $1 million deal. It took them 12 months to close that $1 million deal, and the client paid up front. The client paid up front $1 million cash, but it took a year to close that deal. Needed all the stakeholders, needed all the right people in place, needed all the agreements, needed all the process, the planning, the structure. There's a lot of people working on that deal. There's a lot of people working on the deal. By the way, that $1 million is a website. $1 million website, right? It's taken a year to close that deal. So generally in our world, the small world, that between that, if you're charging $500 or $1,000 a month, to 2.5 to 3 grand, your sales cycle is pretty short. It's going to be under 2 week mark. Your sales cycle should be pretty short. Anything above that, your sales cycle start. You've got to answer the questions, right? If the marketing manager has to go to a managing director to get a check or an okay on the budget, then that's going to stall, or that's going to take time on the deal, right? So it's all going to be dependent upon how important it is, how fast do they need it done, and do they have the budget, right, ready for it. That's going to determine the speed of sale. Yeah. Would you recommend searching for target leads by SIC codes? Daniel, you can. Do I recommend it? I don't think it's a matter of recommendation. I'm saying, yeah, you can. So my answer to that question is yes. Other questions here, I'm just looking at here. Octavia, how do you target those middle-level companies and firms with ads? Really simple, right? Tell them that you work with middle-level companies in your ads, right? Talk about the strategy that you have in plan for companies that are looking to generate certain sales volumes in their companies, right? Are they targeting certain audiences? Are they targeting, where the ad company, we don't, like, you can literally outright say, we don't work with small businesses. We hate working with small businesses. We only work with middle-sized companies, just like you, right? So you can identify, the niche, you can identify the size of company. You can say that in your campaign, right? This strategy is specifically designed for companies turning over this sort of revenue. You can do that in your campaign. All right, so just making sure we've got questions. How do you convince them to outsource rather than hire internally? Cara, they're asking for you. You're not convincing them to do anything. You're not convincing them to outsource. They're asking you, can you help us? They're hiring you. They're looking for people like you. It's not you trying to convince. If you have to convince anybody of anything, you're not going to do anything, right? But what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're looking at options and we need some help. And so they're actually looking to add you as an asset to their business because they understand that you know what you're talking about and you can solve the problem. So you're not replacing their internal people. You're adding value to a project or an outcome that they want. We need to sell the result, not sell the tactic. That's the other thing is you want to fall in love with the result. You don't want to fall in love with the tactic, right? Most people market the tactic. Most people say, hey, Facebook's really cool. You should be advertising on Facebook like all these other people, right? That's not what you want to be running. You want to be focusing on the result, right? You want a predictable, proven path of generating this level of result on a consistent basis and that does these things. You want to be more specific to the outcomes. All right, so kicking on here. I'm going to share my screen again. So how do we create a compelling offer? I want to walk through this. Some people might have seen this training, but I want to share this because it all starts with an offer, right? Nobody can engage, and I just want to talk about the psychology behind this. Nobody can engage you, right, if you don't put something in front of them. I had a conversation. Somebody sent me an email yesterday. Somebody I've known for a number of years. They've pivoted and they've opened up. They've created a whole new a SaaS company. They've launched a SaaS company. So they've come to me saying, "Hey, John, we do SaaS, right?" So they've gone in and they've launched a SaaS business. And this is the question they asked me: "Hey, John, do you think we should wait until after Christmas, right, to launch the new lead gen strategy, the new lead campaign for our SaaS company. Do you think we should wait till after Christmas, after Thanksgiving, wait till after Christmas, kind of do it in the new year? What do you think, right? So here was my response. So right now, your SaaS, which is online, you're not accepting any paid customers right now. So you're telling me right now that I can't go to your website and I can't buy your product. That's what you're telling me right now by saying, do I wait to relaunch our lead gen in the new year, right? Last time I checked, SaaS is open 365 days a year, 24/7. That's when SaaS is open. SaaS is open globally in every time zone, all day, all night long. That's what I know, right? So my advice to this person is you need to make offers 24/7, 365 days of the year. So my answer to the question is, should you wait until, should you delay 25 or 30 days and not make any sales or new subscribers and new customers? Should you do that, or should you get new subscribers and customers now? My answer is we should be advertising now, not waiting, right? So the number one reason why I see a lot of people failing is that they haven't got any offers for anybody out there. They're not running any ads. They're not making an offer to anybody that they can engage. They're not following up any offers. There's no offer. Without an offer, nobody can buy you. And here's the other thing that I keep coming up against with people in the agency world. If I can't find you or see you, you don't exist. Your competitors do, right? If you don't somehow make yourself visible to the market, to your audience, to the market, if you don't make yourself visible in some form, shape, or fashion, you're invisible. You're not even in business if you're not doing that. If you are not actively offering something to somebody every single day of the year, no one can buy what you have to offer. No one can work with you. You know, that means that you are not even in business if you're not putting an offer. I often offer, that word offer comes up a lot, right? I often offer and I ask people, right? Right now, tell me what your offer is today. How many of those offers you got out right now? What's the response to your offers? How many appointments did you set yesterday, the day before, the week before, the month before, the last 60 days? How many clients did you sign up in the last 2 months in your business, right? Show me the numbers, right? And they'll go, oh, I had 2 appointments last month. Or we did a couple of cold email campaigns. Or we tried some Facebook ads and, you know, we're sort of still trying to figure it out. Well, we got one client, we signed up a client about 6 weeks ago, right? If that is your response to the answers, if those are your answers, then you're not in business, right? You're wasting time. You're wasting time if you don't put an offer in the marketplace. This is why this is so important. If you're in business, right? If you are in business to generate revenue, generate sales, you need to put an offer out today, right? You need to put an offer out right now. Because if I can't respond, engage, see what you have to offer, if I can't see how you can help me get a better result, if I can't see why I should be looking at what you provide as a solution, then you're invisible. And if you're invisible, then you're not in business. You're playing in business. I had a person, I know this sounds really weird. I know that I'm kind of harping on this point, but I had a person who has been following my training for 3 years. They've been following my training for 3 years. And I asked this question when I was doing this event. I asked the question, I said, great, how long have you been in business for? And this person said, I've been in business for 3 years, right? Awesome. So how many clients are you managing right now? None. Okay. How many clients have you brought on board in the last 3 years? None. Kind of starting out. I said, so what have you been doing for the last 3 years? You haven't been in business for 3 years. What have you been doing? If you've been watching my training, you obviously haven't learned anything. You haven't applied anything. You haven't done anything. It's really hard to grow a business without actually going out there and doing the thing you say you want to do to engage clients. So you're not in business at all, right? And most people I find in this game, they're not in business. They're playing in business. So if you want to be in business and you want to speed this process up, you want to engage. You want to engage every day. You want to have a conversation, a business talk every day, one person every day, 20 business talks a month with a human being that is a business owner, right? Saying, what do you do? Who do you look for? Hey, can I show you what we do to help people like you? Yes or no, right? You can do that. You can, like, I can tell you, if you had a conversation with a business owner and just ask them. So if you want to, so for those who are watching this training and watching on the Facebook and on the Facebook, watching at Facebook and YouTube and where you are watching this training, right? If you just do this one thing, put aside your sales pitch, put aside your offer, put aside what you do for people, right? If you just do one of these, this one thing, and you do it just once a day, right? I will guarantee you, all of you will generate 5, maybe 7 new clients in 1 month if you just do this thing. But this thing is not an easy thing to do because we're going to make it really hard for ourselves. Not that it's not, it is actually quite easy to do, right? If you actually keen to do it. But most people just won't do it, right? Most people are either lazy or they're scared or they just want to do this, right? But if you have the intent to reach out to businesses and just ask them this question, hey, I'm just talking to business people like you, and what I'm trying to find out is who you're looking for, who is the ideal customer who wants to buy and invest in your services. Because I talk to so many other businesses out in the marketplace, and if I know what you're looking for, if I find that, I'm happy to refer. But what I want to do is I just want to understand how you do business. That's all I want to do. I want to understand how you do business and who gets the best out of what you offer to the market. Can we have that conversation? 5-10 minutes. And then all you're going to do is ask questions. So what got you into this business? Why do you like this business? Why do you hate this business? What's the perfect customer to you? What does a great customer look like to you? Where do they kind of come from? What do you do right now to help those sorts of customers, right? How often do you get to speak to those types of customers, right? What are some of the most important things that you believe, in your opinion, you should be doing more of to invite more of those customers in? And just ask those really basic questions and take an interest in what they're doing. And then there's going to be a moment in the conversation. There's going to be a moment in the conversation where they're going to just ask one question of you. And this is the most dangerous question they can ever ask you. But this dangerous question is the one that puts money in your pocket. Because as soon as they ask this question, this is where you get to help them understand how you help them to get the result they're looking for. So the question they're going to ask you is, hey, John, Sue, Tanya, Mary, Tom, Ahmed, Blamore, right? I'm going to ask you, hey, these are really interesting questions. I haven't really thought about my business in this way. So what is it that you do? What do you do? And then you say, great, I'm really glad you asked, right? Let me show you, let me demonstrate, let me give you an example. I'll walk you through to teach you what we do and how we help. Now, at the end of that person oftentimes will sit there and say, hey, they'll make this statement, right? They'll make this statement. If you do this, if you practice this very basic conversation, this is a statement I make. So how much would it cost us to do this with you? We need what you do. We're not doing it right now. We need what you do. Roughly how much it's going to cost us. And there is a customer. If you had one of those conversations per day with a business owner, I'll guarantee you'll close 5 to 7 deals in the next 30 days. Guaranteed. Because all you're doing is taking an interest in what they're doing, how they're doing what they're doing, what they want, what they're looking for. And then they're going to reverse the table and say, look, it's really funny. I'd really like to know a little bit about your business. And so you can say, well, this is what we do. We help people just like you do this thing. You want to see how it works? Great. Let me show you how it works. And then say, well, you've got a choice now. I've shown you how it works. You can do this yourself, right? Or if you like, I'm more than happy to help you. We can get our team and we can do this for you. And they're going to go, well, how much does that cost? Well, great. So this is what it's going to be. It is a natural, easy way to fall into customers. Not very complicated, right? But it's the one thing. If you offer the ear to listen, to understand, then what will happen is they will turn around and want to understand you because you've been generous enough and kind enough to listen, to understand where they're coming from, to be able to help and serve in that process. And it really is that simple. The reason why I know is a lot of people I work with have done this. They get clients all the time. So how do we craft a compelling offer? It all starts with an offer, and we've got to do one every day. If you're not offering every day, you don't exist, right? You need to be offering often if you want a consistent growth in your business. Even if you're at capacity, you still want to be offering, right? So many times when I've built companies and built businesses, we get to a place, a momentum in a place where then from that moment on, we are always hiring. We are hiring. We're open for hiring 24/7, 365 days of the year because we're building trajectory, right? So the same thing with an offer. If we constantly put an offer out there, we're constantly filtering in through or opening the door to doing business in the marketplace. So it actually will force, right? It will actually engage you to scale. higher scale, right? So what can we offer prospective clients? We can do things like lead magnets. We can offer a book. We can offer some training. Let me teach you how this works. Or let me show you how Facebook ad campaigns can work for your law firm, right? We can do an explainer video. We can say, hey, watch this video that explains the problem that your market's having and how you solve that problem. You can offer a strategy session. Hey, we try to help people understand strategically how to grow. We provide growth plans, strategy plans right now in the current environment. Gives you a little bit of clarity, gives you some focus, understanding, and maybe gives you the platform to be able to launch for and grow your business. Planning sessions. We might offer you clients. Hey, would you like some people that I know who could benefit from what you do? Can we get together and partner up together? And I can open the door to some clients, right? You might offer a gap analysis. Let me understand, ask some questions, assess, analyze, audit your business. Or you can offer to fix something for them. Hey, we know that one of the biggest problems that people have is they don't have the ability to track. And so what we're doing very quickly is we're just adding Facebook ad pixels or ad campaign pixels to pages so that you can start collecting a database of visitors and leverage your opportunity to retarget. Can we just do this one thing? Let's fix it for you, right? Or you might say, hey, we're seeing this problem right now. Don't know if you're experiencing, it's a common thing right now where ad blindness is a real problem. Ad blindness means you're seeing anomalies in the numbers of your ad campaigns. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to assess that for you. We're offering to have a quick look at that. We can just show you perhaps where you can get your campaign on trajectory on track. There's plenty of things that we can offer, but there's two offers that I love. The number one offer, hey, here's how we got a result of a client just like you, right? Would you like to see how that result work or how that result can work for you? That's a great offer. The second offer that I love is let me teach you how this works. Let me show you, let me explain the process of running a successful Facebook ad campaign. So then we're going to talk about the 4 elements that are really important to optimize a campaign, right? We've got to look at the strategy. What's the strategy? What's the outcome from that strategy we're looking for? Then we've got to look at the creative, the copy, right? The actual words that we're going to use to communicate the Facebook ad. Then we've got to look at the imagery, the creative, to attract the attention of those to look at the ad. So we're improving the ability to engage, get the click through. Then we've got to make sure that we optimize a campaign. Then we've got to run 8 to 10 or maybe 20 different versions of the same campaign so we can test and then scale. And once we've done that, then we can actually structure our bidding to scale. Once we figure out what it costs, once we get a certain conversion rate through the click-through rate, then we can look at the cost of acquisition. So we'll do an assessment of the cost of acquisition, and then we know we've got a scaling campaign, so we can create an unlimited marketing budget, and then you're making millions of dollars worth of sales, right? So you can walk them through and you show them that. And when you break that down for people, you teach them, they'll sit there and go, holy cow, there's a lot involved in this thing, right? And you only charge $500 a month for that? That's crazy, right? Or you only charge $1,000 a month? Wow, that's a bargain. Or you only charge $2,000 a month for that? That's insane, right? Because all of a sudden they start to see all the work that's involved, right? The reason why most Facebook ad campaigns fail is because somebody's cousin or brother or kid is running the Facebook campaign, doesn't know the strategy, doesn't know what's working, doesn't make it work, and they don't know what to ask, and the ad's failing. Right, the campaign's failing, right? We see 80% of most campaigns when we do an audit are failing, right? One of the big failures right now is speed, upload speed on the mobile platform. So you want to check the page speed of the landing page of your Facebook ad, and if it's below 30%, you got a problem, right? Because that means it's taking more than 20 seconds for that page to load on a mobile device. If it's taking more than 20 seconds, that person's already done a Tinder and swipe right. Right, they've already swiped right, gone to another web page, right? So this is the way you can use these sorts of things to fix and help and engage, right? So first consideration when crafting an offer is understanding your avatar and how they'll benefit the most from your offer. We need to understand who will benefit the most. We need to think about why they're buying this. What are the reasons they're hiring you or going to hire you or looking at this strategy to maximize or leverage their opportunity to generate sales, right? They're going to have to do that. They're going to have to do that with you, okay? So next, this is a matrix. Now, I'm trying to remember to give credit to who, I think this came from Dan Sullivan over at Strategic Coach, right? So this is intimately sort of knowing your market, right? Intimately knowing your market. So we want the frustrations, the wants, the fears, and aspirations. I'm going to demonstrate this to you in just a moment, just to give you perspective. What you want to do is you want to understand what the top 5 or more frustrations are of your avatar, of your customer, right? If you know what the top 5 frustrations, if those frustrations continue to be exacerbated, then the impact of those frustrations is a cost, right? It's a deduction, right, that happens to the business. So if it's cost, what is the cost, right? So we need to understand. So the want is the opposite of the frustration. So if I don't have much, right now the leads we're getting are terrible, right? We're at terrible leads right now. We're spending a whole bunch of money. The leads we're getting, they're awful leads, right? Well, if they're awful leads, then the want is, imagine if we could filter the leads, ask a few more questions, have them qualify better, and give you a better qualified lead that gives you the type of customer you're looking for. That would be the ideal scenario. So from the frustration, our leads are terrible, to, hey, what if we filtered, asked more questions, got a much better quality lead that is ready or showing the indicators that they are in the market to buy? Would that be better? That would be better, the want. From the frustration to the want, right? Fear, if the frustrations continue, the fears will come true, right? So we're not growing, not getting enough clients. If we're not getting enough clients, well, we're going to have to let go of our salespeople. I'm going to have to get on the tools. I'm going to have to sell. If I don't get that happening, then I'm going to have to downsize. If I don't get that working, I'm going to have to shut shop. And then if I don't get that, if I shut shop, I've got to go and work for my competition. I've got to be an employee, right? Or I failed, right? So how does the frustration, if the frustration continues, how does it take you down the fear track, right? Because the fear track is a really strong buying motivator, right? So from the wants, right? The wants are all the opposite of the frustration. But if we get our wants, if we're getting clients, we're converting clients, we're filtering clients, we're getting a better result, we're getting more impact, we're getting more reach, more traffic, what happens? We're going to hire more people. We're going to scale our business. We're going to open up new locations. I'm going to take more vacations with my family. I was going to say travel internationally. Right now, that's not a good joke. Too soon. But I'm going to spend time with my family. Going to buy that Harley Davidson, whatever it is, what the aspirations are. Why am I doing this in the first place? What am I in business for? Right. So if we understand what these buying motivators are, then we can actually craft a campaign. So I'm going to demonstrate this to you, and we're going to pick a particular market. So what are the top 3 frustrations, and what are the top 3 wants, right? So for example, I'm going to use a physical therapy market because it's a market that I know very well, but this can work for any industry, but you need to just apply the frustration. So I'm going to pick the top 3 frustrations in the physical therapy market. Doctor referrals are dropping month by month. So most traditionally in this physical therapy market, they get a lot of referrals from hospitals where people are sending their patients for rehabilitation. They get doctors who send their patients who have musculoskeletal problems and suffering pain. They send them to a physical therapist, right? The problem with that is doctors have been realizing that they've been sending out millions and millions of dollars of revenue to physical therapists. And so now they're building their own physical therapy practices because they sit there and say, well, I can hire a physical therapy PT in my doctor's office, give them a table, probably costs me 75 grand a year. But that one PT, if I think that I'm referring 10 patients or 20 patients a month to a PT and my plan of care, so like I'll do that change, so that's like $40,000 a month. That's like $500,000 a year. I can keep the practice. I can pay a PT 75 grand a year, and I'm going to keep $360,000 that I get to keep, and I don't have to do the work. And the work's already been generated for me. So a lot of hospitals and doctors are opening up their own rehabilitation centers and not referring patients out to PT. So doctor referrals are dropping. In fact, they've dropped by more than 50%. Right. So the competition opening up around us, eating into our local markets, right? So there's new people opening up PT practices everywhere. Generally, when we find one PT practice opens up, an osteopath, a chiropractor, and 4 other PT practices will open up in the same 5 to 10 mile radius within 6 months. Right. So competition opens up all the time. That means it's diluting the population or diluting the market. Right. Next, new patient flow, sporadic and not consistent. So sometimes we're really busy, a lot of times we're really slow, and it's up and down and sporadic. And so we've got to manage our rosters, our hiring. This becomes a real challenge, right? So what are the wants? What are the opposite? So here we go. So the wants are, imagine you never have to rely on referrals, then you can get direct access to patients. So instead of doctor referrals being down, imagine flipping it and getting most of your patients direct access and not having to rely on referrals, right? Competition. Well, what if we actually helped you become the recognized expert in your community? What if we help you become the recognized expert in your community, right? The next, so that you become first choice, right? The next one, so instead of new patient flow, sporadic, not consistent, what if we had a predictable automated system that brought you 30 plus new patient opportunities per month, guaranteed? So you'll never have sporadic up and down. You're going to have a consistent flow of brand new direct patients every month, guaranteed. So from frustration to wants, right? So fears. If the frustrations keep going, then my fears are I'm going to slowly see patient numbers drop along with revenue. I'm going to downsize my practice. I'm going to lay people off. I'm going to go close my practice. I'm going to go and work for a hospital, right? Those are the fears. The aspirations are if I get my wants, I hire a new team, I scale the practice. I spend less time in treatment, enjoy the success of my practice, so that I'm, so that I do the very thing I said I want to do is I want to build a successful practice, right? I'm going to open up new locations, serve a wider community. These are the aspirations. So these are the ways you can come up and craft your offers that are relevant to the market. So if you understand what the problems are with the market that you're serving, then you're going to maximize your opportunity to get the right information in the right place, right time for those markets. So moving on, right? 3 offers the market needs to be making right now, right? Your customers, if you're helping from a lead gen point of view or a marketing point of view, number one, you've got to make a relevant offer to their current customers. We're still in business. We're still operating in a new way here. And this is how we're helping people like you. So I was talking to a dental practice. This dental practice in Texas. They were in Austin, Texas. And Mary, who runs this practice, at the beginning of the pandemic, she went, holy cow, like, COVID's going to crush us. We can't treat our patients. We've really got to put in some very severe PPE, protective equipment. We've got to take our people to some training. We've got to figure out a way on how we can serve our market. This is not good, right? It's going to hurt us, right? And so what Mary did was she realized, and we had this conversation. I said, look, Mary, one of the things you want to do is you've got to find a way to book out, like your practice is not going to be closed for 5 or 6 months. You're not shutting down completely. People still need oral care. They still need dental care. And there's still practices operating in ways right now in the current market. You've just got to find a way to operate under the current constraints. We've got to get a little bit creative, a little bit innovative, right? Well, 7 months down the track, we're 8 months down the track. Mary's dental practice is booked out for the next 3 months solid. And she had to hire rooms in another dental practice to facilitate the clients in the practice, because the rooms that she hired, the dental practice she's hiring the rooms from, they're quiet. They're pretty much almost going out of business, right? But she is absolutely flat out right now, absolutely flat, because she made a relevant offer to her market. She let the market know, hey, we're not going away. We're finding a way to look after you and care for you. We want to really work this out, really want to help you. And here is the way in which we can help. And just by engaging her customers, engaging the market, and letting the market know that she is still going to be open for business, her business is flying, right? Coronavirus is the best thing that ever happened to her practice, because it made her think about how she could develop her practice in a different way. It made her think about how she could serve her customers better, her clients and patients better. It made her think about some of the things that could be doing a little bit differently in the market. She used this moment, this opportunity, because she knew, hey, every time when the stuff hits the fan, something new is going to happen, right? So she saw this as an opportunity, right? So number one, you've got to be making a relevant offer to the current market. You have to be making a relevant offer to your current market right now, right? You want to engage all current past leads and quotes with an incentivized deal. If you've got quotes right now from offers that you made in the market, or you've got customers that have said no for whatever reason, you need to re-engage them and re-offer them, right? These are your low-hanging fruit. Right, you need to engage all your current past leads quotes with an incentivized deal. We're still open. We want to save you money right now. Here's a 30% lockdown deal, or here's a 30% social distancing deal, or do the deal. Right? Create a deal, free delivery, right? Or our new way of doing business. We need to engage all the current and past. We need the people who know us are the easiest people to sell to, right? And then number 3, we've got no choice. Businesses right now, they have to advertise. If businesses are not physically advertising their presence in the market or letting the market know that they're open, then they are dead. They're out. They're gone. These are 3 things. You need to talk to people. Like, how are you advertising right now? How are you putting yourself out there? Are you optimizing your campaigns? Are you maximizing your opportunities? You need to advertise. Facebook, Google ads, relevant offer to the market, TV, radio. You need to let people know. In fact, the ad spend right now has increased. In fact, ad cost initially in the middle of the pandemic went down, and now all of a sudden ad cost is starting to creep up, right? Because they know that there's a demand for advertising. So if you're not advertising, if you're not visible or you're not making yourself visible, market don't exist, right? So how are you helping your clients or your prospects engage in these three needs right now, right? So offers, I'm going to give you a few examples. Can I show you a system that can bring in 30 new Planner Care patients to your practice every single month? If I can show you a proven path that we can do this every single month, can I at least show you how that works, right? Get direct access to patients to minimize the impact of diminishing doctor referrals. I want to give you direct access to patients. I want to bypass doctor referrals. I want to supplement. In fact, what I'd like to do is I would like to increase your ability to go direct to patient and decrease your dependency on referral. Would that be a good idea, PT? Absolutely, right? Can we talk about how we make you first choice in the community? Healthcare, back pain, balance, rotator knee, autoimmune, and motor neuron. It should be motor neuron disease, not motor neuron disease. So can I make you first choice? By the way, that is one of the best offers that you can go to the market with. So listen, what if we could make you first choice over and above a competitor where you own the lead? You're not sharing the lead. You're not doing a home advisor or high pages. You're not using house.com and paying hundreds of dollars for leads that you're sharing with everybody else. Imagine I could make you first choice and you own the lead. There's an offer. I'm teaching people how you can be first choice and how you can own the lead and not share the lead with a prospective market. Would you like to see how to do that? Yes or no? Right? Okay. So omni-channel, like multi-channel retargeting. If you're doing retargeting, everybody should be doing retargeting campaigns right now because it's one of the best ways to improve your conversions, right? Would you like to dramatically improve the current advertising results, convert more of your incoming leads, right? Can I quickly show you how an omni-retargeting strategy or multi-platform retargeting strategy can drive buyers back to your business, right? Can I show you how you can follow every visitor to your website on every internet marketing channel for pennies on the dollar, right? Can I show you 3 campaigns that will revolutionize your current advertising results? Yes or no, right? Sales automation and funnels. Can I talk to you about closing deals from leads you already paid for and discarded? Can I turn those tire kickers that you got into sales? Can I come and have a chat to you about closing, converting? This is one of the easiest conversations to have. Can I show you a simple way to automate your sales process so you never lose an opportunity to close a sale again? Can I show you how to capture and automate every lead so you never lose the opportunity? Would that be worthwhile or would that be useful to your business? Yes or no, right? Can I show you how to increase your sales conversions by 30% without spending another dollar on lead generation? Can I show you how to improve your conversions by more than 30% without spending another dime on lead gen, right? Facebook ads offer. Can I show you how to get direct access to buyers on their mobile phones and achieve 3 things? Brand your business, make a direct offer for buyers to respond to, and build a database of instant buyers that you can re-offer to at pennies on the dollar, right? Can I show you a Facebook ad system that consistently brings in new buyers on autopilot? Can I show you how to get 30 to 100 estimate opportunities for your on autopilot, right? If you're dealing with contractors want more estimates. You get more estimates, you make more sales, right? Simple offers. Let me close more sales for you. Can we get on the phone for a quick chat, right? Hey, I'd love to come and close some sales for you. Can we talk about that? How do you close sales? Automate the sales process, right? Your sales opportunity cost is your greatest immediate increase cash flow acquisition strategy. Can I show you how you can get your hands on it? Reply yes to this email, right? You're spending a ton of money on advertising and burning leads that are sales waiting to be closed. Can I come and talk to you about this? Reply yes, right? Never lose a sales opportunity by automating your follow-up. Never lose a sales opportunity by automating your follow-up. Stop the bleeding of sales in your business. How many sales have fallen through the cracks? How much revenue do you think you've lost? I'd love to get that back for you. We hop on a quick call, right? Stop burning leads, start converting sales. I want to show you a simple system that will double your sales conversions, right? Other ways to find great offers in the market, Google best offers. I find that if I one of the best ways, I'm going to share this with you as a strategy. Whoops, I'm going to share this with you as a strategy. Right. So here's a cool idea. Right. If there's software tools right now, things like espionage, that's espionage spelled with an I, espionage, ad roll, There's a few other services where you can actually look at high-performing landing pages. So let's say, for example, I chose the plumber market as a market. If I could go and find the 3 top converting ads for a plumber market, it's really easy to find them, by the way, and I can share those funnels or share those campaigns with the market. If I can share those campaigns with the market, right? Can I show you the top performing ad campaigns right now and the top performing ads that are actually getting the most conversions to the market? Is it okay if we sit down and have a chat about that? I can do that by finding top performing ads. Say, hey, these ads are converting, this landing page is converting, this offer is converting. I'd love to show you what's already working so that you don't have to waste money. In fact, one of the people that I work with can actually give you the guaranteed volume search and exact keywords that people are buying in predicated markets. They'll actually give you the landing page that is converting the most. They'll give you the ad copy that converts the most, and they'll actually give you the positioning and the targeting so that you actually have, you know exactly what the ad cost is and you know what the actual conversion cost is. So can you imagine having that intelligence and going to the market and saying, hey, can I just show you a campaign that's working right now in your market? I can show you exactly how much money you have to spend to exactly get a rate of return of, say, 3 to 1, 3 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1. Would you like to see that? That's an amazing offer. Go to the market and look for ads that are already working, because ads that are already working, right, they've already been tested. One of the classic campaigns, and I know the fitness market and the gym market's gone out the window, however, it will come back, or it is coming back in markets. But one of the cool things is a lot of companies in the fitness industry have already spent millions of dollars testing ad campaigns. They've spent millions of dollars testing ad campaigns. So why reinvent the wheel? Just repurpose the ad, right? How do you adapt campaigns that have already been tested? The ones that you keep seeing, that they're constantly advertising, they're the ones that they've spent a lot of money on, and they're spending money on because they work. They wouldn't keep advertising and running the campaign if the campaign didn't work. So if I want to go to the market with great offers that convert, is all I need to do is find performing offers, and there's plenty of places you can do that. Case study research, if you go to marketingprofs.com or if you go to marketingsherpa.com, these are places where you can find case studies of what the best campaigns are, how people got the most optimized results from those campaigns. You can actually do that from those markets, right? So I'm going to stop sharing here for a moment. I want to talk about offers. I need a motor hero disease, auto purchase ads. Magic Mountain at Disneyland, right? Do you publish rates or only reveal pricing via appointment? Steve, it just depends. If I have a website and I'm providing services and I want to give people a range, these are our price points. You can put your rates right up front and you can show people what you charge. Be transparent. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I like to engage, build a relationship, draw people in, have a structure so that I'm actually converting those sales, right? I want to actually walk people through that structure, yeah, in terms of what I'm doing. So to answer your question, Steve, yeah, you can, or not. It's up to you. It's a personal preference. If it's part of your strategy, yes, you can. Tanya's giving out leads. If anybody knows who consults the D365 CRM, they've got a lead for you in Melbourne right now in the middle of middle tier firm. So if anybody can help Tanya out, there's clients. Look at that. You come to my live trainings and you get customers offered to you for free. So, yes. So, yeah, the thing is, there are 2 offers that I would make. So if you're taking notes or you've taken notes on the pages, the number one offer, so one offer is if you have a case study and you've been able to get a result for a client, then it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a huge result, it just has to be a result, a success, right? If you've got a case study, go and offer that case study. Say, hey, can I show you exactly how we got this result for a client like you, because we know how to replicate it. If you've got a great result, then you can replicate the result. So you want to ask, do you want results like this? And demonstrate and share. If you've got more than one case study that proves the result, then use more than one case study, right? Now, if you don't have a case study and you're using a white label partner, you get your white label partner to give you their best case studies on the results that they get for their clients, right? Hey, share some screenshots. Give us an example of the type of business or the clients you've been getting result. You don't need the brand of the company or who the company is. You can actually share the results. Say, hey, our team, this is what our team does. Here's some examples of the team that we have, and here's some screenshots, and here's a result. So we know what we're doing. Our team gets results. So if you demonstrate the result, the next question is, would you like to see how this framework right, can work for you? Can we lay this framework over your business and help you to make this framework work for you? Yes or no, right? And they're going to go, yeah, I'd love to, right? Or no, I'm not interested, right? Most people go, yeah, I'd love to see how it works. That's one. If you've got a case study, use a case study as the offer. Hey, what right now? So think about the offer, right? And I'm crafting this. I know we're displaying this live, but think about it, right? Right now, we helped a client get 30% increase. We added 100,000 or 200,000, $1 million worth of sales in the last 6 months by using our proven pathway in the strategy. We're looking to work with a company that wants to replicate that result. So if you'd like to see how it worked, we'd like to break that down, show exactly what we did to make that happen, and perhaps how we can overlay that framework on your business and help you get an identical result or better. Are you interested in having that conversation, yes or no? Give me the best phone number I can contact you on. I'll show you exactly how it works. That's a great offer, right? That is a great offer. If it's a relevant offer to the person you're speaking to or offering to, all you got to do is just keep putting that offer in front of somebody. Hey, do you want to see something that actually works? Hey, do you want to see, I want to show you exactly, breakdown, word for word, what we did to make that work. I want to demonstrate to you. And then I'd like to know if you're interested in replicating the result. Is that okay with you? Yes or no? So that's one. That's a simple offer. And that offer works, by the way. That is a great, if you've got a great result or a great offer, a case study, then teach people the case study. How did you get there? Tell them about the business. Walk through it, right? And say, well, this is all very cool, but how important is it for you to get the same or more for yourself? The third thing, this is the second offer, is, and I personally think this is the easiest offer you can make. And a lot of people try this, but they're not, I don't know, well, a lot of people who do this do get the result. But the second offer, which is really cool, is teach people how what you do, what you know works, right? Walk them through what it's like to develop an ad campaign. Walk them through what they need to take in consideration to manage their marketing. Walk them through what an automation process looks like. Walk them through what a follow-up and appointment setting system, and walk them through, teach them what you know. It's one of the easiest ways to get clients. So many people, I don't know why they think this is such a complicated thing, but it's not. And you would think, so here's the thing, right? I've sat down, we've walked through funnels with prospects. We walk through a funnel. We show you, this is what the funnel is. This is the psychology that goes behind the strategy. This is the entry point of the funnel. This is how this funnel converts over here. This is the landing page we use. This is the conversion elements we're using on the funnel. Then on the back end of this funnel, a couple of things are going to happen, right? Automation is fired off, and there are 16 touch points in this automation. Let me show you the schematic of the 16 touch points and literally walk them through. Literally show them the IP. Now, some people might say, but won't they just steal that and go and do it for themselves? No, they won't. They won't steal it, right? Because they won't know how. They don't know the nuances. They don't know the psychology or the strategy or what went into crafting all those pieces of information to actually make that funnel work. They don't know the testing. They don't know the structure of campaign. They don't know the bidding. They don't know anything. So they might take a snapshot of that, but they won't be able to replicate it, right? They won't be able to replicate it. So show them, say, look, do you like it? Can you understand why this thing crushes it? Right. And by the way, I know my champions that have done this have closed some really big deals just recently. One of our champions closed a $120,000 deal showing a full funnel, right, that they have set up for a client, showing a full funnel, exactly how it worked. And at the end of that, the client said, we have to have that. We want that for ourselves. $120,000 on a show. Let me show you how this works. Don't necessarily want you to buy it. I just want to teach you how this works. Our business is to give people a value, to show them how they get the result. So if I can show you, I would imagine that would be useful to you. Yes, that would be useful. Great, let me show you. So at the end of that conversation, you give them two choices. It's a really simple sales close. Choice number one, well, you know how to do it now. You can go away, tell your team, teach them everything that I've just taught you right now. Remember everything I've said, and you can go and do it, and you can go get the result, right? Or if you like, our team's already trained. We've been doing this for a long time. We know how to get this done really fast. You can hire our team and we can replicate and build one of these things for you. What would you like to do? 50-50 chance. So imagine you sat down and spoke to people and said, this is how it works. Because now you're demonstrating your capability of understanding the fundamentals of how what you do delivers an outcome and a result. right? You're not even doing a sales pitch here. All you're doing is you're demonstrating. The price that becomes irrelevant because they're looking saying, wow, this is such a complex process. And yeah, look at the result that happened from the process. Yeah, we need to do this. We want to do this, right? So you make the offer. You can take this away and you can do this, or you can hire our team and we can put this together for you. You want to see what that looks like. I'll guarantee you the majority of the time they're going to go, no, I'd love to get your team involved. How much is that going to cost us, right? Okay. So can you share what methodology you use to identify the pain points of your clients? To answer that question, it would be really simple. There's a thing called lean, T-H-E, lean, L-E-A-N, stack, S-T-A-C-K.com, theleanstack.com. If you go into the leanstack.com, it's a framework, it's a methodology to identify the buying predicators of a zone, like buying customers, how a customer buys. It's a decision tree strategy. So what there is what they call the buyer's interview. So how you find is you do 6 interviews with people that you want to work with in the marketplace, and you ask them how they buy what you have to offer. What are the problems? When does the problem occur? How often does the problem occur? What is the cost? It asks all the questions. It's a fantastic framework. It's called leanstack.com, L-E-A-N-S-T-A-C, the T-H-E, leanstack.com. It's a methodology and a framework for asking 360-degree questions to extract the problems and the buying motivators. It's really cool. So how do you do that? Really simple. Ask. Look at the market, do the research, find out what's going on. One of the things that I do is I go and so my research this is one of my research tricks. I go and ask people, tell me about when an advertising company or a Facebook ad company screwed it up for you. Tell me where you wasted money, you burned them, you got ripped off. Tell me about how you got ripped off by a Facebook ad company. That's the question I'll ask them. I ask a lot of people, say, hey, have you ever felt like you've been ripped off by a Facebook ad company or a Facebook advertising person or a freelancer? Yeah, we've had a shitty experience with this company. Tell me about the experience. What happened? And why did you hire them in the first place? Well, we needed the help. We thought we knew what to do. Why did you think you needed the help? Why didn't you take it internally? Well, we kind of, we just don't know how to get this right. So we went to, how many people did you speak to? I wouldn't speak to very, we spoke to one guy who convinced us he was very convincing, but he was terrible. Why was he terrible? Well, never returned phone calls, never da-da-da. How did it make you feel? It made me feel like real crap. So if you're going to get, but is Facebook ads important to you? Yes, it is. So how do you want it to be? What would you like it to be in terms of the way you deal with a client and agency? Well, we'd like to understand the process. We'd like to understand the communication protocols. We'd like to be able to have measurable, trackable results. We'd like to see what the methodology is. We'd like to understand that they can demonstrate some level of competency and prowess. We'd like to see some accountability, right? So if you had all these things, if we could give you all these things, then you'd be in for that campaign. Well, if I agreed to all those things, could we work together? If I showed you how to do those things and we agreed to those things and made it really easy for you and we held ourselves accountable, we also held you accountable, would you be agreeable to letting us take a crack at running your campaign? And they'd probably, I'll guarantee you 100% I'll say yes, right? So it's really easy. One thing I used to go is, how did the last person piss you off? How did the last person mess up for you? When was the last time you spent money on this and what was it like? Why do you think it didn't work? What didn't you do? What did you do? What did happen? What didn't happen? What were your expectations? Ask those questions. You'll find the frustrations that people have in hiring people like you, right? Ask those questions and you'll figure out very quickly, if you understand their frustrations, you also need to understand the frustrations of them hiring you, right? If you don't understand the frustrations of them hiring you, then it's going to be really hard to help them, But I generally start is, how did somebody else piss you off? Let's start there. And I take them into that, I take them into the feeling like emotional, like they want to strangle this person, right? Because they never want to have a hiring mistake ever again. They want to get it right. So then I want to talk about, what does it look like when you get it right? What does it look like? And then my question is, how motivated are you to get it right? And they go, I'm very motivated. Okay, well, tell me why you're motivated. Well, this is important to us. We need to get this right. So do you understand what part do you play in the contribution of that? Right? Do you understand your commitments, your accountabilities? I never thought of it that way, right? Because half the times, if they're saying we wasted money with a lead generator, 80% of the time they didn't. The person got them leads, but the quality or their ability to be able to serve or handle those leads was the issue. Right? But they won't know that until they identify the fact that they've got a very poorly optimized sales process, right? Lean Stack, leanstack.com. Try leanstack.com. There it is. Without the, sorry, I thought it was the Lean Stack. It's Lean Stack, yes. I just shared the 2 simple offers. The 2 simple offers: 1, let me show you what works. Number 2, let me teach you what works. Let me teach you how to do this. They're the 2 simple offers. The 2 simple offers that anybody can do this. Let me show you. The number 1, the easiest one to sell, to pitch to anybody. Right now, Facebook advertising is expensive. Getting Facebook advertising wrong is expensive. So the fastest way to get advertising right is to know how it works. I'm showing people how to run a successful, optimized, and managed campaign in Facebook. Can I show you and demonstrate to you how to do that so you're aware of getting the result, the positive result? Would you like to do that? Yes or no? I could make that offer all day long, and I know 3 or 4 people will say, yeah, I'd love to see how that works, right? Yeah. If the offer includes a high level, wouldn't that confuse them? If you include high level, Howard, if you're including high level as part of the offer, then you're already talking about it before you're talking about the other thing. At the very beginning of this, I said you make one offer. Don't make the high level offer. Make a Facebook offer or make a high level, one or the other, which solves the problem. But high level is an addition. It's a plug-in. It makes what you do work better. It improves the opportunity. So it's something that it can be part of what you do, but you don't want to lead in with it, right? Or you can use it. Yeah.
I've been bundling the lead gen, high level, and a person to call to follow up. So it's sort of a system.
That's awesome. You've got a complete, so can I demonstrate to you the complete system that guarantees a booked appointment in your calendar? That's your teach. Perfect. That's probably one of the best offers you can make, Howard. Go to the market and say, listen, I've figured it out. You need appointments. You need somebody, a fresh body that's agreed to your offer, that's interested in what you have to offer, and they're going to show up to the appointment. If I can deliver the appointment directly in your calendar and fill your sales calendar up with appointments, would that be something that would be helpful to you, Howard? That conversion rate to yes to that offer is 100%. If they don't say yes to that offer, Howard, they didn't hear the offer. They didn't hear the offer.
I don't have numbers of appointments, and I don't have a guarantee.
So what? You're saying you're making appointments. Yeah. You're saying I've got a system to make appointments. You're going to plug in a system to go and make appointments. You don't have to demonstrate that. If you can demonstrate the numbers, great. If you can't, you can say, hey, I've worked out a system right now that we realize that the missing pieces are that people aren't getting appointments. So what we thought we'd do is we get the lead gen happening, we get the lead management working, so the leads are filtered, managed properly, and getting a proper lead. And then what we do is we get somebody to call them and book the appointment in your calendar. Would that be something that would be useful to you, yes or no? I'll buy it, right? Because it's what I want. I don't want to lead. I want the appointment. So yeah, let's work together and figure out putting an appointment on calendar. That's how you do it. It's a great offer. It's a great thing to share. If you're gonna, to me, that's the open and close. You've got an open close loop, right? Here's the biggest problem right now: run Facebook ads, don't get appointments. Second biggest problem: run Facebook ads, don't manage leads. Third biggest problem: don't have people setting appointments or having the real appointment in your thing, not seeing in your calendar. So if we can eliminate those 3 critical problems and put the person in your calendar where somebody's going to be there and say, I'm interested in your offer, is that what you're looking for? I challenge you, Howard, if you explained it that way, what business would say, no, I don't want the appointment. No, I don't want the appointment booked in my calendar. I don't want the lead. No, I don't want a qualified lead. No, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in somebody who's interested in buying my product. No, we don't want that, Howard. Sorry, we're not interested in good quality leads. We would rather terrible leads. Send us all the horrible leads, please. Right? Yeah. So, mate, that's a good offer. If you can refine or craft that offer, that's an awesome offer. Thank you for asking the question. What offer is the fast action offer is, okay, so this is a cool offer. To me, familiar list. So I want to make an offer to my familiar list first. People who know me, people who know I'm in business. Now this familiar list is not just a familiar list of friends and family. This is a familiar list of people who you interact with in business. your accountant, your lawyer, your chiropractor, your physical therapist, the painter, the contractor, the renovator, the home renovator, the pest controller. This is a list. If you're looking for clients and you want money now or cash now, if you're not going for high brow targeted niche, then there's plenty of money out there. People need help right now. So I would put that list together, probably take about 40 minutes to write that list. And I guarantee you that if you really sit down and think about this, you could put a lot of names on that list, right? So that's number one. Number two, you want to pick 3 people off that list. Not all the list, just 3 people. 3 people that you know that you think you can have that conversation with. 3 people that would be open to having a conversation. Then what you want to do is you want to demonstrate what you're offering. You want to go, hey, I reached out to you. I'm talking to business owners about this thing. I've got a demo that I want to demonstrate the exact result that we get. I'd love to show you the demo. Can I show you the demo? I've even personalized it for you, right? So then you're going to go to these 3 people and you make the demo. At the end of the demo, you say, what do you think? You can go and do this yourself, or would you like me to do it for you? And you can make an offer. That's the fastest way. I know you can close a deal by the end of the day if you did that, right? You could easily close a deal within a day. 24 hours, 48 hours max. That is one of the fastest and easiest ways to get a paying customer. Go to Familiar now, and those 2 offers, get those 2 offers. If you've got a list, make the offer. That's the fastest way, right? If you don't make the offer, nobody can see it, nobody can respond. And you can ask, right? Hey, I need you to respond to this, right? I'm sending this to you personally, but I need you to, can you do me a favor and respond? You can ask the question. Can you do me a favor and respond? That's another way to do that, yeah? So the fastest path to an offer is have one offer, have one thing that would convert, like things that they're interested in, what you're using. For me, strategy session offering the ability to teach something is a simple offer that you can make. The third thing is your conversion process, right? How are you going to help them? What are you going to do? What process are you going to take them through to buy what you have to offer? That's the third thing. And the fourth thing is how do you follow up and close the loop? The fourth thing is how do you follow up and close the loop? So number one, pick one thing. I'm going to send an email. I'm going to do a Facebook ad. I'm going to cold call. I'm going to do a networking thing. I'm going to do a LinkedIn thing. Pick one thing. One. Notice my finger? That's one, right? The next thing that I want to do is I want to have one ability or one thing, a hook, or one hook. My hook is, let me teach you, let me show you. My hook is, here's a thing that works, right? My hook is, I got a result, love to show the result. There's a hook, right? Have one hook. It might be a lead magnet, it might be a cheat sheet, it might be a checklist. You can do that as well, but have one hook, right? Must lead to a sale, right? Third, how are you going to convert the sale? What's your conversion strategy? Your conversion strategy are the questions you ask, making sure that you're qualifying them, making sure that you're eliminating those objections, making sure that you're showing them a plan that they can say yes to, yes or no to. That's what you want to do in that process. You want to show them a plan, they say yes or no to, right? And then from there, you want to make sure you close the loop. Closing the loop means making a direct offer to say, do you want to do this or not do this? Right? Best way to make an offer is say, hey, you've got 2 or 3 options. The best offer is you want a yes or yes offer. So best option, here's 2 or 3 options. Option 1, do this. Option 2, this is one that most people like, and this is what we do for people that gets the best possible results. Then option 2. Option 3, this is the enchilada. This is the most expensive one. This is only for people who really want to accelerate the results even faster, right? So of these 3 options, based on what you know, which do you believe suits you best? And allow them to choose. Option 2, I want number 2, or I want number 1, right? So they can only say yes or yes, not yes or no. Improve your conversion, right? And then when they say yes, well, great. Can I walk you through how we work together and get that result, right? Now, I know that I'm simplifying this. I know that I've simplified this process, right? But understand, right, that what you focus on most becomes your reality. Every single person here, you have an offer. Any person that's on the Facebook Lives, I've just given you 2. I've actually shared many offers with you, but I've given you 2 offers that you can use right now. I'd love for you to go and put those offers out, get some feedback. I'd love for you, if you're going to join me tomorrow at the same time at 5 p.m. PST, where I go through a couple of the other strategies I'm going to be sharing with you, then I'd love for you to go and make this offer today and see what happens and meet me back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Right. So what was $125,000 funnel demonstration you spoke of designed for? Oh, CRM. So it's an integration of Marketo for SaaS. So that's $125,000 offer. So we would do a $5,000 strategy, then the assessment, then there will be an integration. Worked out to be $125,000 to do a full integration for Marketo for a client. That's what we sold for $125,000. So really, all their ad campaigns, all their marketing, all their salespeople, it's all driving everything to one management tool. So that's what we're selling for $125,000, Christine. Ahmed, how do you add urgency to your offer, even when they acknowledge it's a now thing on the discovery call and agree to make a decision? I'm getting I'd be sold. I don't know what the rest of that statement is, Ahmed. Urgent. So if you have to manipulate urgency, Ahmed, then you're manipulating people, and then people are going to say no. People aren't stupid, right? You know, if you have to create urgency, that means you're trying to coerce them into making a decision. It's either a good decision or it's a bad decision. It's either a now thing or it's a later thing. It's either like, I just want to be very clear that a later thing might be wait a couple of days. Well, if it's a sincere reason as to why they wait, then that's okay. But if I have to create a sense of urgency, that means I'm trying to grab them in the headlock and go, look, you've got to do this right now. Anybody tries to pressure me or push me or create a sense of urgency, I'm out. And people are not stupid, right? Don't be like this. So this is the thing. I love it when people ask these sorts of questions, because this is more about you. This says more about you than it does about the customer, right? If I've got to coerce them or manipulate them or do those sorts of things, then that's why people shouldn't buy from you. They should just run a mile from you, because you're trying to force them into a situation, right? You don't need to force them into a situation. You just need to ask. You need to clarify the question, right? Because I'll guarantee you in a delay, there's always a question. When somebody delays, they've got a question. So you've got to actually drill deeper to actually draw the real question out, because there may be a very good reason for the delay, and that's okay. You should be allowed to have their reasons of why and why not, or why now or why not later. But if it's a fear thing, if there's a fear and a doubt, then you need to pull that out and you need to address that question, right? So it's not about creating a set. What are you telling me? That Facebook ad are not going to be there tomorrow? If I don't buy your Facebook ad campaign today, that Facebook is going to disappear. So if we don't do business today, that you'll never be able to run Facebook ads again. Is that the urgency, right? Like, think about how silly that is, right? Hey, you need to do this right now. I want you to do this right now. It's really, really important, right? No, you don't understand, right? Facebook's leaving tomorrow. If you don't say yes today, you miss out. Any business in the market's not going to run Facebook ads tomorrow. I mean, that's just silly, right? So to answer the question with respect, here's the answer. The answer to the question is you haven't answered a question, and that's why they're delaying. So it's not about creating a sense of urgency. It's actually about making them okay, or in their mind that it's okay for them to do the business. That's what the truth is, Ahmed. It's not you. If you're trying to manipulate, if you're trying to, what can I do? What can I throw? Like, if you start, what if I discount this? If you buy now, I'll give you a discount. Well, don't do that, because what you're telling people, Ahmed, is you're saying, I could sell this to you cheaper. So I was ripping you off up here, but if you make this decision today, I'm willing to do this cheaper for you, right? So that's what you're saying to people when you're discounting for insistence to buy now, right? So that's number one, don't discount, right? Number two, okay, so what's going to happen here? We went through this process. What's the real question? Ask the question, right? Because sense of urgency, close the loop. So go back up to the top. So when we started, you said you were going to say no. So I'm assuming that if we don't decide today, this is a no for you, that you're out. And they go, no, I'm not out. Okay, so let's understand. When you said this is your objective, yeah, we want to do that result, that's what we want, right? Now, you said that these are the reasons why this was important to you. Yes, well, we're important. And you also said that this is what was stopping you from doing that. And you've said that you've agreed that what we've got delivered here as a plan is the thing that's going to get you the outcome. Yes, yep, great. Okay, awesome. Now, we also said the money. We said right up front that you could handle that. Has anything changed? Did the bank balance dry up in the last 60 seconds, right? Or the 60 minutes, right? You said that you could handle that. You could still handle it? Yeah, we can handle it. Well, great. So what do you think we should do? You think we should get this going? I can get my team on this right now, set this up and have it going? Or do you think we should just let this go? And I'll just call it a no, and I want to thank you for wasting your time. What do you think we should do? I think we should do this, right? So it's not about creating a sense of urgency. It's about asking them legitimately, do you want to do this with me, right? Do you want to do this with me? That's what you're asking, right? So there's no trick, no tactic, right? If you have to trick people or incentivize people to make a decision on the spot, if that's the way you set your sales process up, then that can work for some people, because some people are looking for a bargain. But if you sat down with a company and they're deciding to spend 30, 40, 50 grand with you, and they've agreed to make a decision, they've agreed that they've got the budget, and they've agreed that if you've got the right solution and they think that that's going to happen, then they'll generally go, yeah, okay, we should do this. But if they need to think about it, we need to get back to what they need to think about. Because we remember we eliminated the objection if we followed the process right up front. So the only reason somebody won't go ahead, right, if based on all of that, what I've just shared, Ahmed, the only reason that somebody won't go ahead is because they've got doubt. Somewhere in there, you've put a doubt in their mind that this thing isn't going to work for them. So you need to figure out, or now that might be a doubt for you, that might be a personal doubt for them, right? They might have come up with a doubt, not you. It's a doubt that they haven't shared, right? So you've got to go and find that doubt. So which part of this isn't working for you, right? You know, buck down, $5 to $10 back. Is that not a good deal? That's a great deal. Great. What do you think we should do? I think we should start this. Well, great, right? Let's get it started. Can we work together? My goal is to live and breathe a result for you. Your goal is to help those people buy. Can we partner together? Can we work together to get that done? Does that make sense? And they go, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, let's do this. So the only reason somebody pulls out is either they've got a question they hadn't been answered. There's a doubt that's been raised, whether that be a doubt in their mind or a doubt in the prospect's mind. That's what happens in this process. But if you paint by numbers, and by the way, for those of you listening, everybody, there's always an exception to the rule. I have a no arsehole policy, right? I don't work with arseholes, right? So you know, there's no point. Like, what's the point of working with a difficult person? So we have a policy. We work with, you know, we just want to make sure. Are you an arsehole, right? You know, no, good. We can work together, right? So we have a no arsehole. Anything difficult, anything where where it becomes where we have to work too hard in the exchange is like, you know what? This isn't for you. I want to thank you for coming along. I'm out, and you're gone, right? You know, so that's another thing. So we don't know. Most people are pretty nice. Most people are pretty cool. But here's the thing. The only reason somebody doesn't buy is because we haven't answered all their questions in their mind. We haven't given them every reason to make that decision, say yes. Because here's the thing, if they're clear about what they want to do, they're clear about why that's important to them, they're clear about what's stopping them, and if you're the solution to help them bridge the gap from where they are to where they are now, then I guess the only thing to do would be to execute the plan. Plan B is to stay where you are and do the very thing you say you don't want to do. That's plan B, not hire you, right? So hopefully, Ahmed, that gives you some perspective, because let me tell you, you know how to do this. You closed a deal within 24 hours of this very idea, right? I know you got a result, dude, right, of following the strategy. So any questions? I'm happy to answer your questions. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you because we're going to do tomorrow's topics. So I'm going to share what are we covering tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to do sell the result, not the tactics. So I'm going to be talking about understanding the buying triggers that attract prospects. I'm going to talk about understanding the 3 core pillars that have a direct impact on the business revenue, areas that you can use as intelligence to convert deals. I want to also show you how to extract the buyer's most important business objectives. I'm going to take you through a process of information that you need to know to help any business in the market actually buy. So I'm going to walk you through. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow at 5 p.m. Then I'm going to break down how somebody hires you. I'm going to walk you through what the predicators are, what the decision-making processes are of how somebody hires you, and then what you can do to make it very easy to speed up the sales cycle where they're going, hey, you're the right person, I need to do this. So I'm going to walk you through what I call the agency client buyers journey. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So that's day 2, 5 p.m. PST, same time, same bad channel, same location. That's what we're going to do here. But I just want to say, and by the way, you can download the workbooks for tomorrow to take your notes. And before I go, I just want to ask this question before I go, because there's a whole bunch of people on here, and I really appreciate you hanging with me. I didn't realize that this was going to take as long as it did. The information I had was a lot of information. But here's the thing. My question, takeaways. If you can just type in the chat, one takeaway that you got out of today. Just type in the chat. One takeaway that you got today. Love to get some feedback here. Use one simple offer. Absolutely. Inspiration. I don't know what that means, Owen, but thank you. I need to craft your offer. Yes, Denise, you do. Nothing works without an offer. I'm not scared of the price. I'm more scared of the price of the client than the client. Well, Tanya, you and I need to have a conversation about your pricing. Like a real one, right? We need to really talk about price, right? Because you need to own that. You've been in this game too long, Tanya. You know what you're talking about. If there's anybody in my part of the world that knows what they're talking about, that I know is you. So we need to talk about price, Tanya Belchamber. We need to talk about price. Yeah. The lean stack to help investigate the client's needs. Absolutely. No ninjas. No ninjas. Go after the mid to top market, Deo. Yeah, that's the money's there. Cara, I need to grow a pair and find bigger clients and pitch them. Thank you, Cara. Max says the fact that there are so many businesses out there looking for and are willing to pay for our expertise. Max, that's the thing, right? If we know that's the truth, then the first we've got to do, we've got to run out to the gate and start talking to business owners, start engaging in those conversations, right? Show the strategy, showing a strategy, yeah, showing how it unpacks. Thanks, Nanda, appreciate it. Refine the customer avatar for the proper offer. Yes, Octavio, refining, right? Like getting really to know, like, you know, this database list that we build of 138 prospects, it's only 138 prospects. That 138 prospects will be worth at least $10 million worth of revenue within this 2 years. It's not thousands of prospects, it's 138 of them, right? And only 20 of them are worth that 10 million, right? Not all 180, less than 1/5 of those prospects is worth $10 million worth of revenue, right? So we fine tune, you refine into who you want to work to build that market, because you're going to build, when you really target and refine in, you can really build a name and a brand in that market, right? Love the lean stack to clarify the message. Thank you. James says a 20% e-com, 80% new e-com opportunity. Absolutely. Right now, only 20% of all sales are actually made through an e-commerce platform. 80% of sales are still made direct. That hasn't changed. By the way, those numbers moved up from 14% to 20% in the last 9 months. Went from 14% to 20%. So now it's still 82%. It's 18%, sorry, not 20%, 18%. But it's still 82% direct purchase, 82%. People still going to stores. People still going to locations. People still buying. Yeah, they're researching online, and they still want to see the product. Anything else? I want to thank you for being here. I'd love for you to go and put an offer out in the next 24 hours. Or if it's your night time, put an offer out tomorrow. Look at your notes that you've taken on the notebooks that you've used and downloaded. If you haven't, go and download them on the links in your emails and on the social pages. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun, because tomorrow is more tactically aligned with strategy. So we're talking about understanding how we can use business motivators to buy what we have to offer. I'm going to walk in. This is some of this stuff I've never even shared or taught. So what I'm going to be sharing some pretty cool stuff on how you can understand the actual buying decision trees that businesses make to hire Facebook ads, AdWords, SEO, websites, copywriters, how to do that. Thanks, Octavio. Appreciate you being on here. Appreciate it. Miles, thanks, Miles. I appreciate you hopping and saying those kind words. So super fun tomorrow, 5 p.m. same time, same channel, same place. Make sure you download the workbooks if you haven't downloaded the workbooks. Tomorrow we're going to have some fun. I'm actually going to be talking about some stuff that I really haven't shared, like I said, in the market, and it'll give you a much better understanding of how people actually buy what we have to offer in the marketplace. So with that, I want to thank you. If you're in the Facebook group, love to hear your comments about what you thought about this training. If you're here, please go and make an offer. Love to hear if anybody gets a result or anybody closes the deal tomorrow. That'd be really cool. If somebody closes a sale, gets an appointment, makes a sale from the offer, that would be pretty fun to do. So again, I really appreciate the time you've given me today. I hope this has been useful and helpful. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.